of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
Greetings, good evening, how you doing? Welcome to your home for wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Welcome to Beyond Ringside. Yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Lane, live from the vault in the Beyond Ringside studios in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. Welcoming in tag team partner, the one, the only, Mark Mabo Bowman. Mabo, what's up, buddy?
Oh, not much, Eddie. Apparently, what the heck? Where's that?
I told you he was going to do it just the second the music hit.
Heck, nabbit. You want to do it, or should I do it?
Go for it.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
What the hell is that sound? Is that my phone still calling you guys?
It sounds like you were slurping something, and I don't think I need to discuss that.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to say this one time and one time only. Damn, I'm exhausted. It's been a long week, but a good one, all in all. Mabo, I hope you've had a good week.
And Eddie, once again, first of all, I hate it when syrup gets spilled all over my action figures.
Yeah, be careful with the pancakes, dude.
I know, dude. Those pancakes just squirt syrup everywhere. And second of all, on a much sadder note, Eddie, I really meant to tell you this before we went on air. You may know, you may not know, but good friend of the show, Dirty Dutch Mantell, his granddaughter was involved in a horrible car accident, I believe Wednesday or Thursday.
Yes.
He's passed away, and I left a message on his Facebook page on our behalf, sending our condolences. So, those out there, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, at least, keep him in your thoughts and prayers, because, he's lost his granddaughter, and it's bad enough when a parent has to bury a child, but to bury a grandchild's even worse.
Very true, my friend, very true. And I think I can go ahead and say this. Dutch, I've known you for a while. We met a number of times over the years, and, dude, definitely still always in my thoughts and on my prayer list. Well, we just lost the call with Wicked. We're going to try to get him back in, and I know that he's got to be pretty much blowed up also after this weekend. I know last night, but I'm going to hold off on discussing that. First off, 3 great nights. I was there for the show in Canton, Georgia. Great show. For those who made it out, we thank you so much for making the trip. Had some of the best of the Bama area as well as some of the best out of Georgia. And it was a great night. I've got the Beyond Ringside camera was rolling that night, and we've had a conversation with the front office over at Global, and a couple of matches may just be ending up as GCW Web Gems down the road. That's something that I'm working on, actually, because I know that Wicked carries his camera everywhere he goes, and I've been carrying mine everywhere I go, and we both shoot video of different shows. And if we're on events and have the permission of the promotion, we may just be turning in Beyond Ringside Web Gems and different areas in that particular regard. Of course, a lot of people know that I work directly with Global. I have for years, and coming out of Friday night and Saturday night, 2 tremendous outings. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this. My last call a little bit later on in the evening is just simply going to be entitled For the Love of the Business. Plain and simple. I'll let you think what you want to think. But definitely join us a little bit. Keep it right here on Beyond Ringside. I'm going to be joined approximately 6:15 Central, 7:15 Eastern by professional wrestling star Tommy Taylor. And at the top of our 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, we are scheduled to be joined by Grizzly Redwood. First off, Mabo, my tip of the hat in your direction, sir. Thank you for setting everything up.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I guess. Because, when people spill maple syrup all over their action figures by accident, they want to clean them, especially when they have obsessive-compulsive disorder.
Was it, well, actually, wait a minute. We were joking about pancakes. Was it actually pancakes, waffles, or French toast sticks?
Oh, it was a French toast. It was actually a French toast stick. And that dadgum syrup just, can't believe it just shot right all over the pancakes.
Wicked, welcome back in, buddy. How you doing? And I hope you've had a good week, sir.
I've had a horrible week. An even more horrible weekend. And this Skype sucks.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm getting the echo that Mayball always talks about.
No, we're not going to. No. It's just for some reason, when I called a second ago, it continuously had, like I was calling in the background.
Yeah.
This is not the time or the day for this tablet to be messing with me.
Let's see, I haven't even tried to use Skype for my tablet yet. Like I said, I've got all 4 up and running right now with 2 in reserve, and I'm actually thinking about I'm going to be changing out one of the 2 as soon as I get a new monitor in. So it's been chaos. Coming out of by the way, real quick, SummerSlam scheduled to start in about an hour and 19 minutes from right now. So many different things. I managed to catch the first hour of SmackDown from this past Friday night. Managed to catch the majority of Raw from Monday. I have not had time to watch Impact. And courtesy of all the rain that we've had and the inclement weather down here in the southeastern U.S., specifically in central Alabama, I've had no end of headaches with Charter Signal coming through. So Impact was actually frazzled more than it was watchable, and I just gave up and threw the DVR out the window. And have not had 5 minutes to download it off of YouTube. For everybody who uploads complete shows onto YouTube, God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know a lot of wrestling fans do too. Because every once in a while, your cable or satellite system just effing becomes possessed. And it happens like that. It really does. Coming out of last week, I had a chance to watch the replay of the TNA pay-per-view. Hardcore Justice. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. Good job. The pay-per-view had a good flow to it. I was okay with it. There were a couple of things here and there, but you know something? We talk about that on occasion. The human element gets involved, and every once in a while something goes wrong. The only thing that I really didn't care about is exactly what I said I wasn't going to care about, and that was the knockouts match. Sorry, don't care. I saw it coming. And the whole scenario in play, with the exception of that one match, and it's no disrespect to Madison Rayne. I wasn't a big fan of hers when she first really got things going because I thought she was a cardboard cutout. But as time has gone by, she has worked to become better, and she has gotten better, and she is actually very good in ring and better than a lot of people thought she was going to be, myself included, on the microphone. Great her on-camera presence is becoming that much better, and I think that she is genuinely developing herself into a true star over at Impact and TNA Wrestling. But I just couldn't bring myself to watch the match because I knew in my heart what was going to happen there. But with everything else going on, I'm glad to see that Aries retained. I'm still trying to figure out this whole thing. By the way, let me ask a question. And like I said, I have not seen the end of the show. But I'm going to lay this one out there. And Mabo, Wicked, I want your input. And this hit me about 2 weeks ago. And I just keep forgetting to mention it.
Well, mention it already, for crying out loud. Good Lord.
Thank you. Wouldn't it be funny as hell if Austin Aries was the one behind Aces and Eights? Because think about it, his initials are AA, as in a double, as in a pair of aces.
Yeah,
Mabo?
I'm going to need you to put Wicked's pipe down.
I think it would have been absolutely perfect if Austin Aries had been the one completely in charge of Aces and Eights.
Nah, my money's either on Dixie, Jeff Jarrett, or for some reason, and I don't know why, but if they got old Brock Hogan doing something even more, because Daddy wants her to be in the spotlight and earn more money, brother.
I will barf. I will drive 14 hours down to the Impact Zone,
Wait,
And
it
I
takes
will.
you 14. Wait, hold on. It takes you 14 hours to get down there.
I like to stop every once in a while, and I'll stop by Cafe Risque on the way down. Have a
Wait,
T-bone.
Is that like the big 2-3 level porn store?
No, that's the full scale nudie bar / restaurant where they have naked waitresses.
Ew, do they wear hairnets?
There's no hair down there. I swear by Nair. And either that or I sure as hell wouldn't eat the steak. However, Wicked Nemesis, your thoughts?
On Club Risque?
No.
Yes, on Club Risque.
Yeah, when was the last time you were there?
Because at Club Risque, you have to buy something to eat.
Cafe Risque.
And then they made me and Bishop pay to leave until Bishop threatened to rip the guy's arm off and stick it up his ass.
Nice. No, I'm talking about the concept of it.
Club Risque, all that, man. That's horrible. I just go to the Asian one and let them, do that thing.
Been there too. No, I haven't. That's a lie.
I don't know. I don't watch TNA. I hate how they treat those guys. It's just, I don't know. It probably is going to end up being Jeff Jarrett. If it's Austin Aries, I don't see that because they need a baby face that is predominantly used by them that the WWE hasn't regurgitated or cracked out. That they say, let's pick up these turds and run with it.
Jade, excuse me, Storm has not been in that trap.
That's the only one that they pushed, though, in years. The only one. In years. Besides AJ Styles, that's it.
True, because they never really did give Christopher Daniels that true main event superstar face push. They've kept him primarily either tag team or heel. And I think, well, in his case, he does make a better heel than face. I think that with his personality. And there are just some people in this industry that you see and you look at and you go, yeah, they make better face than heel. Yeah, they make a better heel than face. And that tweener thing just doesn't even come into play, Miley Cyrus. Or what's the Amanda Burns? Yeah, learn to drive, bitch. Mabo, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think you of all people should question Amanda Bynes, not Burns, Bynes. Question her ability to drive. She can't help it. She's got to take the low-hand spot, so leave her alone. But yeah, no, I mean, you're right. There are some guys that you look at and be like, yeah, he's definitely more suited to be face than heel. Like Ricky Steamboat. Could you ever look at Ricky Steamboat as a heel?
No.
Okay, Tito Santana.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah. Although I often wondered and thought about this, a couple days ago. What if they would have gave the Alberto Del Rio gimmick to Tito Santana years ago before they brought him back as El Matador?
I don't think he could have pulled it off. I think he has too much background in the American-based business to where everybody would know him and go, well, that's BS.
Well, see, that kind of brings me up to another point is a good friend of the show, Antonio Garza. Or wait, is he a good friend of our show?
Yes.
I don't think we ever had him on. Anyway, we know him. A certain constituent of mine years ago asked him, who some of his favorite influences were and all that. He was interviewing him for another project. And, of course, he rattled off, several luchadors. And the person doing the interview looked at him and was like, well, what about Tito Santana? And they said Garza just looked at him like, who's Tito Santana?
Oh, funny.
Huh?
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and the interviewer got insulted, like, really? How dare you not know who that is? And I'm just like, that's because he wasn't, he never really competed in Mexico to the best of my knowledge, so he's probably not a top shelf name luchador.
Yeah, he's been in the U.S. ever since the 80s.
Exactly. So, anyway.
And maybe Tacula's too small of a town to know.
Tacula? Yeah, I've been there once.
By the way, nice props on correcting me on the hooker who can't drive. I was saying her name off by on purpose, dude.
Sure.
Wicked Nemesis, the preconceived notion about physical appearance, face versus heel. And that's the way he looks at it.
Is he there?
Yeah, he's showing up as there. It's going to be another cluster day, I know it. But
well, this is not the time to have that.
no, well, dude, it's a 4-letter word called life. I'm used to it. Yeah, and there's something else I want to talk about before we get too in-depth. Once again, coming up in about 25 minutes right here on Beyond Ringside, pro wrestling star Tommy Taylor going to be joining us live. And coming up in about an hour and 11 minutes, we're going to schedule to be joined by pro wrestling star Grizzly Redwood. Looking forward to it. There is something I would like to get off my chest while Wicked's working on his phone system, and I'm going to go ahead and, that's why. He did say be right back. I wasn't looking at the Skype messaging. Sorry, my bad. From this vantage point, no, I'm going to wait. I really am. I'm just going to get it all out at once. That way I don't have to split it up, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about a skinny blonde-headed pain in the ass whose daddy runs a promotion, who thinks that he's God's gift and all that to professional wrestling, when probably couldn't even carry a spot if you decided to give it to him on a GPS.
Well, first of all, did you call her skinny? I mean, come on.
I called him skinny.
Oh, I thought you said her.
Same damn thing in his case. I've got some stuff that's really burning a hole in my brain right now, and no, it's not pharmaceuticals. And I'm really ready for last call, so I can actually say it and just let it rip, and I will today. The gloves are off. But speaking of the gloves being, I'm looking at the Bound for Glory thing, and the way things are starting to shape up. They've actually done a good job of mixing it up a little bit coming out of the pay-per-view. And the way things are looking right now, looking at the points in the Bound for Glory series, I know the whole thing's a storyline, I know the whole thing's a work, but by the same token, they're actually making it look good. They've done a better job this year in keeping the drama in play rather than looking like somebody's going to run away with it. It looks like it could actually come down to a four-way dance the week before Bound for Glory to determine who's going to get the title shot. True?
I thought that's the intent purposes was they were having a four-way dance.
No. I mean, they make it look like the four-way dance is going to be that much more crucial to it.
Oh. Well, yes, that is true.
The last year, they didn't do that.
No, they didn't. But that was their, you have to realize, that was their, dadgum syrup. That was their first year, and they were still kind of working with it, so.
You are restricted from eating French toast.
Oh, you cannot stop me from.
I couldn't say it.
You can't stop me from.
You are restricted from consumption of French toast sticks anywhere close to your action figures.
I'm telling you, dude. Well, let's put it this way: the toaster's right next to the action figures. So, anyway, beside the point.
That's what you get for putting the syrup into a power. God, what was
you? Don't even have an analogy. You're just too.
No, I'm laughing too hard. I can't even get the word super soaker out of my mouth.
Why would I have to have syrup in a super soaker? It's just stupid.
Never mind, you sick freak. We're gonna end up breaking the K on this one anyway. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Continue. Where were we? I just got lost.
We were talking about the BFG series, which I saw online like what possible matches are left for them to have, and I mean, are they even going to have those? If so, most of them will probably be at the house shows and stuff because they don't have too many more televisions before they go. Can I just say something? I've been wanting to say something for a while since Bully Ray officially has signed on Twitter. Eddie. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I love every time he talks about he pulls out his phone, he calls it his Twitter machine, and then they actually hashtag Twitter. I just that cracks me up. I'm sorry. That's why he needs to stay in Impact DNA or whatever it's called. He needs to stay there so he can flourish as a main event heel singles. So that's just all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I love all these imposters who want to get on Twitter and act like they're somebody else. And even though they do play it pretty much straight, this is what Mabo's talking about when he aimed it back at me, is the fact, I can't even use that phrase right now.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay. Is the factor that there was somebody who actually put himself over as the real Bully Ray. And I didn't catch it at first because the person was actually...
I think he even fooled some of the people that, that Bully Ray would be friends with.
Yeah. Because the fact that this person was constantly tweeting Impact-related stuff, as well as, what would sound like something BR would say. And it got by me in the blink of an eye because, like I said, somebody sends me this person started following you. I'm going to look at their tweets. And considering the fact, like I said, it was doing the spike thing, it was doing the time, it was doing, up, everything looked legit until all of a sudden it's just like it hit me. And I remember Wicked told me about somebody who would basically out somebody who was faking an account. And it's like, yeah, it's fake. I'm going, okay, I don't feel stupid. I got hornswoggled on that one, but by the same token, I don't feel stupid. It works like that every once in a while, especially online. That's one thing that I have a major issue with. If people are that damn bored in their everyday existence to where they feel like that they have to try to get attention by putting themselves over as somebody they're not or something they're not, then guess what? You don't need to be on this freaking planet to begin with. Do the world a favor. Go deep sea diving without a snorkel. Plain and simple. I know that's harsh. I know it's crass, but you know something? It's the way I'm feeling about things right now. And I hate to sound really overly cynical, which is totally not me. But it gets to that point every once in a while where I see the human condition for what it is in this business, because of this business, in and outside of this business. And, we had a discussion earlier with Tasha Simone. I had the discussion with Corey Chavis, one half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions. We've had it with a number of people who've been in the business for a while. And, I enjoy the internet. I have fun with the internet. The internet, for all intent and purposes, for broadcast reasons, is our home. And I respect it for what it is. But you have people who want, and please don't overanalyze the use of this word. You have people who want to prostitute it to do something completely and totally stupid, and it's like, something, just go away. Go hang gliding over a volcano. That would be the nice way to say it. So I'll leave it at that. Like I said, SummerSlam starting in approximately 1 hour and 4 minutes from right now, and getting ready for everything involved in that. I will be catching the replay. I was hoping Wicked would be back by now, because
I've been back like 15 minutes. I've just been letting you guys talk.
Oh, well, hell.
Sorry. Well, that was mighty white of you.
Oh, shoot. Before we go to the top of the hour, like I said, we're going to have about 15 minutes after the top of the hour before we try to get Tommy Taylor in. Wicked, I will go ahead and give you the chance to pop a 3-minute recount from last night and the weekend. Go for it.
I won. And there you go. Is that short enough for you?
Well, you got 2 minutes and 57 seconds to work with.
Well, it goes down like this. You guys missed a heck of a tag team match. It was great to see Nina Monet float to the top, because she could have very easily have got lost in the shuffle with the NWA Women's World Champion, with Tracy Taylor, the Island Girl, and with Pandora. But luckily she did not. Everyone's talking about me cheating in the match. I simply wanted to help Tasha to the back in an orderly fashion, and she decided to hit me with a low blow, which let Pandora attack her from behind, which is perfectly legal because we were all outside of the ring. And Tracy to hit whatever the hell finish she calls that. I call it the soul food, because that's what Trey or the Bullets calls it, Trey Williams. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. Tracy pinned Nina dead in the ring. The crowd was solidly behind it. And yes, I did tell Peanut of GCW and Southern Wrestling fame that he was a retard, and please don't get his retard on me. I love the fact that every time I jump at the front row, the entire front row moves back, but yet they want to act like that they're badasses, if they could take me in a fight. But just me jumping at them sends them 4 rows back. You got to love that. You got to love rednecks and their machismo. And then I looked outside and I saw 15, 18-wheelers out front, 42 monster trucks, and a retarded school bus. You know, the short bus that starts off with like a letter?
Yeah.
Like L for loser. I think Obamacare should go through, and we should bring in death panels and just line up all the people like Peanut and just mow them down. I think Hitler was onto something.
Let me say this, because actually, and that's going to be something that I cover in Last Call.
Hitler? Yes.
No, Peanut.
Wait, hold on. Before you get started, how come I can say everything I say and you give me, address all complaint letters to blah, 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 when I say some weird stuff, but this man just endorsed Hitler and you gloss over it like, he could have been right. Really? Kiss my black ass.
Everybody knows I hate Hitler for what he did, but if we forget about Hitler, if we forget about Mussolini, we forget about all these guys that did these atrocities, even George Bush. If we forget about them, if we don't talk about them and continuously bring them up, then you know what? History is going to rewrite itself, and they're going to try to put these people off as good people.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that's not true. So I, of course, do not endorse Hitler. I wear a Hitler mustache because people boo it. People hate it, and it makes my job a lot easier.
True.
That's plain and simple. But the thing about it, yeah, you are right. If anybody wants to have any kind of hate mail, because I've already actually got 2 hate mails through my Facebook today. Enoch at thewickednemesis.com is my email. Wicked Nemesis Enoch Tessarian. On Facebook, Enoch Tessarian. Please send all that hate mail there. I love reading hate mail because it's always the same thing. Your hair is ugly. You're a porcupine head. That's how every hate mail starts off, because nobody wants to insult the fact that I'm a winner. Nobody wants to insult the fact that my charges always win, and that's just common knowledge.
Well, 2 points real quick. One, I've never seen a porcupine bald on either side. They're usually completely covered in quills. And 2,
Yes,
I like to think that they're not booing your Hitler mustache. I like to say that they're booing, and they're not big fans of Charlie Chaplin because they don't care for silent cinema.
You know, I tried to do that joke at PWA, and nobody got it, Mabel. I tried to say, it's not a Hitler, it's a Chaplin. Nobody got it.
Nobody got it.
About society, Mabel.
Well, that is PWA, so look who you're talking about.
Well, no, I also have to jump in and say this because Smokey and the Bandit, Burt Reynolds said it perfectly during the movie when he was talking to Carrie, i.e. Sally Field's character. When you lay a statement out there, it just depends on what part of the country you're originally from and talking about to show how dumb you really are. And the same thing can be said about timelines as well, because not a lot of fans of silent cinema, not a lot of people go back that far. They're content with the here and now. And, you know, in the post-MTV era where everything's reality TV, quick cuts, and we have a tendency to build celebrity status into people who just aren't worth a tinker's damn. And there's another word I really want to use right there, but I'm being nice and I'm playing by my own doggone rules.
That was a pretty good word. Tinker stamp?
Tinker's Dam. TINKER/SDAMN. Tinker's.
Tinker stamp. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Okay, I'll go with that one too. We'll put it on there.
Tiffany hates you.
Not
Because we support homosexual marriage like they do.
Say what?
I think because I support homosexual marriage like they do.
Thank you for using the singular. Because everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't know what Mabo's stance is, and my stance is my stance, and I'm just pissed off.
I don't eat Chick-fil-A anymore.
And I'm just pissed that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday, but I respect it. See, here's the thing, and we're gonna push the network break back to 10 minutes after the top of the hour, folks. So bear with us, and we're 2 minutes after the top right here on Beyond Ringside Live. We don't do politics, we don't do religion, we don't do bullshit. We do wrestling, mixed martial arts, and sports talk. Yeah, I know that's a bleeper right there, and I'll fix.
That's early in the night. But you want to talk about politics, Eddie? You want to talk about religion?
I hate politics.
But let's talk about Hogan in the BFG series, as you guys were talking about just a few minutes ago. This is something that could have been done if the WWE took this format. First of all, everybody would say that they were stealing from. But the BFG series to me is like religion. Everybody has an opinion on it, but nobody knows how to fix it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the way they're doing this. I mean, you've got the people who are going to be perpetually at the bottom, like Robbie E. You've got him down there with 5 points, or however many he's got as of this past Thursday night, because I didn't see the whole show, and I'm not looking at the website right now. Well, it's kind of like looking at NASCAR, and you're looking at the top 10 in the point standing with the 2 wild cards. Right now, Robbie E's the wild card, and guess what? He's there for a reason. Not like last year when Tony Stewart came in as the wild card and turned around and won the whole shooting match because he racked off 3 straight wins and built up enough to where he could challenge Carl Edwards.
The only thing I understood of that was Bill Elliott was missing out of it. I didn't understand it.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Still,
I met that man when I was 8 years old. He was a cool man. But, we talk about this all the time. The BFG series, I don't know about you guys, I like the King of the Ring. I always like the King of the Ring tournaments that they did throughout, and then the culmination being at the pay-per-view, The BFG series offers a lot to it because you get to see that side. I just wish that, to me, it's loaded down with a lot of WWE guys, and that's their fault, or ex-WWE guys, because they have so much ex-WWE talent. And as you guys know, Mabo, and you and I talked about it, and Eddie, you and I have talked about it a few times, man, those guys, man. I mean, I work shows with a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
And just to see how they don't let them be them, it's like, well, this is what got you to the top, kid. Now don't do it. Don't do any of it.
Okay, I can answer that. And Mabel, you can come back, you follow up if you'd like. Plain and simple, WWE has fallen into the trap of what plagues just about every network television show. Spike does it and gives them the results. It's called focus groups. You know what your focus group should be? It's the people who pay their hard-earned money to sit in the crowd to cheer and boo and be indifferent at whoever the hell they want to be. But the networks will turn around and focus group. They're looking at demographics. They're looking at numbers of people who may not even be fans of the business to begin with. And they're showing Impact. Spike is showing Impact. TNA. And NBC Universal is showing WWE what these people in the focus groups, who may not even be wrestling fans, who may just be Joe Schmo off the street watching the product for the first time and have no knowledge whatsoever. Well, I like this person, but they seem a little bit too aggressive. Well, NBC Universal will turn around and say, well, that maybe they need to tone it down a little bit, and they'll be a little bit more over with the crowd.
No, I'm talking about the simple fact of somebody like Robbie E., who is a hell of a talent, who goes in there, and the man, if you've ever seen he's pretty good submission specialist, but then he goes in there, does a Robbie E. character on TNA, and they don't let him do any kind of submissions. That's what I'm talking about. Elijah Burke. Hell of a fuck. Almost said it.
Go with it.
A hell of a striker. I mean, if you ever seen that man, he has some of the, and he never uses it until like maybe a second into his matches now. And I think that at one time, the WWE, towards the end of his tenure in WWE, they were allowing him to do that, if I do recall. He was getting more strikes in. He was doing the one up, upper, the four upside your head uppercut. And now it's like, we're going to have you just, okay, the Pope, I understand. That's a transition. That's a evolution. But when your work style changes, and you know that these guys look at Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal had a specific style they wanted him to do there. Goes out to the independent scene, goes outside of TNA, and what does he do?
Flop.
He goes outside of TNA and destroys in a Ring of Honor. He goes out and does Japan and does good things. Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. Look at Charlie Haas now. Charlie Haas is 180 degrees from where he was in the WWE. Look at Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin has gone quiet. He doesn't talk now, and he goes out and do it. And right now, I'd say the world's greatest tag team, or is that what they're going by?
Wrestling
Greatest Tag Team.
Man, that is a great tag team. God, I wish they could do more, but TNA needs to let the guys do what they can do. Let them go out and be themselves. I'm glad they're letting Austin Aries be Austin Aries. But
Thank God for that.
Other guys do it too. And if they flop, it's their fault. Give the guys an opportunity to fail.
Mabo, come on in.
What are you talking about, changing the styles?
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah, it happens. What works someplace might not work in other places. And sometimes you gotta let people be people, and sometimes you gotta change them to try to, I guess, maybe conform more to what you're trying to get over or portray on screen. I mean, it's what focus groups are. Maybe a flying spaghetti monster gimmick might work, it might not work. Depends on where you go.
WWE, it would work. TNA, it would flop.
Well, I mean, that's why you don't see a lot of Chikara-style gimmicks in WWE or TNA. It's got its own niche. I don't think a pure Jersey Shore, Robbie E. type gimmick would work. I mean, look what happened to Zack Ryder. Even though he says that he was Jersey Shore before Jersey Shore was Jersey Shore, I mean, I don't think the Robbie E. gimmick would get over in WWE because it's just, that's how it is.
Oh, I'm talking about his work style, Mabo.
Oh, his actual work style.
Yeah, his work style. That's my thing. Now, the gimmicks are one thing, but helping somebody be ready for TV is one thing, but I'm talking about when they totally take these guys outside of their work style and make them change their work style. Not in WWE, not where it's like, we all work this, but it's where it's like, oh, you're a striker? Well, we want you to be a submissions expert now. Not that, hey, we want you to do a typical WWE style, you know what I'm saying? That's what I think TNA does wrong. Take these guys from Ring of Honor, take these guys from Independence, take these, besides the ex-WWE guys, almost they let do that, and then they tell them this is what we want from them, even though you do this.
Well,
style. It's just we wanted to totally turn you around, and I think they should let the guys fail first.
Well, I mean, that's what they want to do. Is they want to, much like WWE, they want to take what they want to take something, break it down, and build it up, and claim it as their own. That's just how they are. Both, whether it be in a gimmick or in-ring style. That, and they also have these slots that they try to feel like, oh, we got too many submission experts. We need a striker, even though you're a better submission expert. You're a high flyer. Well, we don't need a high flyer. We need a striker. Yeah, you're a $180 with a brick in your pocket, but we can make you believable as a striker. Whatever.
It doesn't always work that way. I'm going to use a real life example on this real quick. For those of us who know, have watched, and have seen, like I said, and know the Wicked Nemesis. Sorry, I had to use your shoot name for a second there. Forgive me for that later. We know him as a particular style of manager who can go in different directions with his personality. To try to alter, water down, or change, evolve is one thing, modify slightly is one thing, but to change the style that has worked for the Wicked Nemesis, that would be like taking me in my ring announcer position and putting me into adult contemporary radio as opposed to rock radio. Granted, I have a top 40 voice, even after all these years and all these fists of crown and how many cartons of cigarettes or cases of cigarettes. I have a rock and roll heart, plain and simple. And the fact of the matter is, I'm too hyperactive for adult contemporary radio. That's why I don't work AC.
Eddie, but the thing about it is, like myself, when these promoters bring me in, they think that they're just getting some guy with a mohawk that likes to yell. Then when I get there, they're like, holy crap, what did we get ourselves into?
Well, yeah.
And the thing about that is that, that's the truth. And the thing about it is that they don't expect, Pro South wanted me to water down my Wicked Nemesis gimmick.
Who?
Because
Who?
they wanted to, yes, they said, if you don't see it on Nick Jr., then you shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, And then there's people that let me go out and be myself. Shane Knowles wanted me to be Wicked Nemesis at PWA. He's like, I want you to be you. And I said, done. And we all saw where that led to.
The War Games.
After riot, after riot. People jumping, butt whoopings, kids crying. It was bliss. That's the thing.
It was bliss.
People have to understand, like, if you had Mabo as your color commentary, you're going to have to realize that Mabo's the type of guy, if you fall behind in a play-by-play, you're lost. Mabo's just going to run you down.
Yeah.
That's because of his personality. If you put you as a ring announcer, and if you go out there and they're like, we want you to just say this, Eddie, I've never seen you do something that they're like, hey, we want you to just say this. No, that's not you. You're going to deviate from that because that's your personality. You can't just go out there and be like, from Brooklyn, New York, Chupacabra. No, you're like, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it ready. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. That's good. But promoters have to know what they're getting themselves into, and they do not. They see Wicked Nemesis like, oh, I saw Wicked Nemesis in Georgia. I saw him in South Carolina. I saw him in Tennessee. Maybe he'd be a good draw. And then again, maybe I will be a great draw. And maybe you can't afford me, or maybe you don't like the fact that like I told Peanut last night, you're a retard. Sit down. A lot of people don't like that. Mad Dog knows me.
I like Peanut. That's plain and simple. And he actually...
But he takes away from the matches.
Not always. There are a couple of times where he will, but he also will acknowledge when to stop.
No. For TV tapings, that's retarded. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to see CW21 and listen to a match where the only person that I hear is Peanut screaming out some stuff, and it makes us all look ridiculous because people hear that outside of Alabama and like, is that how all Alabamians sound?
Yes.
They all sound like a retard with a big tongue?
No. And like I said, the thing about it is, we're going to go to break real quick because we're going to get Tommy Taylor on the line. 6:15 was our target time. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do it. We'll carry this part of the discussion when we come back. When we come back, professional wrestling star Tommy Taylor right here on Beyond Ringside. Stay tuned.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck for Dave 2037 so he can buy anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman. What are you getting Steve 2037?
Steve 2037 will be just fine.
Well, okay, but don't expect to borrow my anti-gravity boots.
Save something for the future. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
This is Awesome Austin Creed, the smartest man in this industry called pro wrestling, the valedictorian of this business. You are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face to face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting, so why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopwrecks.org.
This is Gabe Sapolsky from Dragon Gate USA and Evolve Pro Wrestling, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Hey, what's up? Holla at your boy. XOXOXO. You getting these texts? Question mark. Where are you? What are you doing? OMG, you are making me mad. You better text me back. I'm waiting outside your house.
Relentless, aggressive texting is like sending an angry robot to deliver your message. When does the robot become dangerous? Let us know at that'snotcool.com.
That'snotcool.com.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Jim Cornette. You are locked into the show of all time, Beyond Ringside.
Remember when your neighbor found us naked in the car, and the time some outdoor action got us kicked out of the park, getting frisky in the dark. I gave your eye a poke. Think the dog is in the bed too. I smell smoke. You and me, we never give up. You and me, we never ever ever give up. The whipped cream that we bought, and dressing in the kitchen, then getting caught. So many things can go wrong, but we still can get it right. You and me, we're not gonna give up tonight.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Visit bedsider.org to compare all the choices and put the bogus myths to bed at bedsider.org. Brought to you by Bedsider and the Ad Council. Bedsider.org.
This is Bullet Bob Armstrong. I'm Southern born, Southern bred, and I never miss Beyond Ringside.
Welcome to the original rock and wrestling radio show. Welcome to Beyond Ringside, your source for wrestling, MMA, and boxing in the Southeast. To contact the Ringside Roundtable of Beyond Ringside, email them at beyondringside@gmail.com. And now, your host for Beyond Ringside, the man, no myth, all legend, Fast Eddie Lane.
The music plays, the microphones go hot, and we are live on a Sunday night. Welcome live to Beyond Ringside, 21 after the top of the hour, 9 minutes before the bottom of the hour, and we're going straight on through. Mike Macaroni, thank you for the intro. Always a pleasure to hear the dulcet tones of the cheesiest announcer in the business. Like to welcome in tag team partners Mark Mabo Bowman.
Look, I'm just going to go ahead and say I do not like the Amish. I think they're horrible and terrible. And if any Amish hear this and are offended by it, what are you doing listening on the internet?
There you go. Like to welcome tag team partner, professional wrestling manager, the Wicked Nemesis.
I have one thing to say. You better work, bitch.
Oh, thank you, Rue Wicked. And ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest at this time, professional wrestling star Tommy Taylor. Welcome into Beyond Ringside.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Wonderfully well. I hope you're enjoying a great weekend.
Yeah, it's been eventful.
Let's dive on straight on into it. I always like to start with what I call the signature question. And there's always two moments for all of us in the world of professional wrestling and in sports. And those two moments are when you become a fan, in your case, in our case, of professional wrestling, when you first became a fan of the business. And number two, when that little light bulb went on over your head and you said, I've got to get in this. For Tommy Taylor, what are those two moments?
Okay, that's pretty easy for me. The first moment would be, obviously, I think it's popular for everyone, the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12. That was like, I remember staying over at a friend's house, and I kind of got the grasp of WWF at the time, but wasn't, I wasn't like watching it every week or anything. I didn't actually have the correct channels that we needed in England. So I stayed at my friend's house this weekend, and he told me all about the matches going on and so forth. And then I watched that match, and just the intensity and sportsmanship and Shawn Michaels' entrance to the glory finish was just amazing. And from right then, I had to watch wrestling every week, go out and buy all the merchandise, the action figures, all that. And then for the second part of the question, I never actually considered it until I think it was SummerSlam '98. I watched The Rock and Triple H do the ladder match, and I just thought that wrestling's so versatile that two guys can do a ladder match and be totally entertaining as The Rock and Triple H are, and then you have the factors of DX and Nation of Domination. And I just thought it was also so thrilling and exciting. And I just thought, man, I really gotta do some research and find out how to get into this. So yeah, and then after that was it. I knew I had to be a wrestler, and I knew I was gonna be a wrestler.
Sounds like somebody needed a new rubber band for the motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm actually driving right now, so I was just going through the tolls at the peak of that question. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. I need a new rubber band for mine too. Mabo, come on in.
No, Tommy. For those who obviously can't tell by your accent, you're obviously not from the States. You are from the United Kingdom, correct?
That's right.
Now, did you receive the bulk of your training over in the United Kingdom, or was it more when you came to the United States? And if so, who trained you?
Well, I started training in 2002 in my hometown of Leeds, England, with a gentleman called Sir Jeff Kay, who he's a very well-respected wrestler in the British scene, and just to name a few people he helped train, Fit Finlay, Dave Taylor, Vader, believe it or not, and then a few other guys who've made it quite big. He's just he's just a fountain of knowledge for the business. And I would say I pretty much learned the majority of my craft from him. Coming over to the States in 2007, when I came over for FCW, I got some training from Tom Pritchard, Steve Kern, Billy Kidman over at Florida Championship Wrestling. And I would say that, them four guys, Jeff Kay in England, Steve, Billy, and Tom over in the States were probably my main four trainers in wrestling.
Wicked Nemesis, come on board.
How long were you in the States before you started using the word y'all?
Y'all? You know what? That might be the first time I ever used it.
It was great. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I got
I
it and he used to use it.
Yeah, it makes me nervous on the phone because I don't want to speak in my real broad English accent, because a lot of times you'll be like, what the heck is this guy saying,
Well, are you a fan of like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, and the English movies like that? Are you fans of that? Are you a fan of that, or are you more a fan?
Yeah, I'm the biggest fan of Snatch. Snatch is one of my top all-time top movies. But the area that they do their movies is like East London. I'm from more North England, so I'm not going to have an accent like an old Jason Statham or anyone like that. Yeah,
do you hear that around here? You being from Northern, the Cockney accent, the British accent, et cetera, et cetera. Do you hear that same around here? Since you do a lot of work in America now.
What do you mean? Do I hear it more now I'm living in the States?
Well, the different types of accents where you're just like, wow, I can tell you're from such and such part of the United States.
Yeah, well, I mean, ever since I lived over here, I still watch British TV and I still listen to British radio and everything, and I'm no accent really stands out more than others. I mean, in the English sense, not. I listen, everything from England over here is usually the London accent, the old Harry Potter accent, the King and Queen accent, all that jazz. So I like to stay away from that kind of accent because it's not me,
Now, if I may, getting started in the UK, how did you face the cultural differences of the geographic areas of the United States as opposed to where you're originally from?
How do you mean?
Well, per se, if you work in the northeastern United States, you hear you have people who lean in one particular direction, and then you have the southeastern United States, where in certain areas it's a little bit more laid back. If you come to Birmingham, we've got one temperament. You go to Atlanta, you've got so many different ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's you really have to live here to witness it. It's, when you're in England and you're watching American wrestling, you don't really, you get to see these over-the-top gimmicks of, guys from New York or trailer park trash guys or Californian guys like Hulk Hogan. It's and you watch TV and movies and things, and it's all, a couple of weeks ago, I went over to New Orleans and Louisiana, and the cultural difference from there to Florida is huge, and it's only, it's a 10-hour, 12-hour drive, but it's like a totally different world over there, and it's the same when you go to other places, places spring to mind like North Carolina, obviously New York. LA, it's all, you have to really live it to understand it and witness it. It's crazy.
And actually, part two of the question. Now, granted, there's been a little bit of time since you first got in, and modern day, or current day, I should say. The fan bases, this is something I always personally like to find out about, because you've got the West Coast fans of the United States who respond to one particular style, or a particular style for the most part. Then you've got the Southwest, you've got the Southeast, the Northeast. When you were first breaking ground in the UK, did you see a trend where a lot of the different fan bases, or the fan base on the whole, would lean more toward a psychology-based style, as far as or were they more fans of the move set, skill sets that the individual workers used, or was it more of a storyline-based, fan-driven?
I don't know. I mean, if you're comparing it from the whole English and American style is a huge leap in itself.
Right.
As far as different territories and different styles around the United States, I wouldn't say that I personally have noticed much of a difference, because I kind of just go by my own psychology and my own style of wrestling that I do. So, as long as the crowds are entertained and there's a good story told, then that's pro wrestling. I mean, I personally don't like to look too much into it like that. I don't like to read too much into things like that, because at the end of the day, you have different crowds in different towns, different states, whatever, different countries, and as long as they're going home happy and enjoying the show, then you're doing your job as a professional wrestler. So, I mean, a little morbid answer there, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion on things like that.
Understand completely. Mabo, come on in.
Now, Tommy, you first said you were trained over in, Great Britain, where they in the United Kingdom and pretty much Europe as a whole, they have a very different style called catch as opposed to the American style of pro wrestling. Two things. One, explain the differences, if you can, briefly, between the catch style and the American style of pro wrestling. And two, which style did you find easier to work, and how was the transition?
Well, catch can wrestling is very much it goes off the back of amateur Olympic style wrestling. There's not a lot of over the top separation between the two athletes. It's more get to grips with the guys. The guy you're wrestling, technically based. There's a few different rules, like we have rounds over there, so there's usually maybe 12 3-minute rounds or so, and 2 out of 3 balls, and it's a totally different. It's almost a different sport. When you look at the old catch can stuff, it's today's American pro wrestling. It's a totally different sport. Yeah, and then what was the second part of the question?
The second part is what style do you prefer to work, and how was the transition going from the catch to the American style?
Okay, it's a tough one. I mean, again, it's going back to my personal opinions on pro wrestling. As long as I'm in there and having a great match, that's the style I like. If I can get in there and do the catch can style over in America, and the crowd appreciates it, and they can talk about it after the show, then that's what I'd love. But you come over here, you gotta do certain things over the top and be a character and all this stuff. So yeah, as long as the crowd's happy, it's the kind of style I like. The transition wise, pretty difficult, but especially when I was in FCW, because they put their foot down on what you can and can't do. So I remember my first day training at the school, FCW school in Tampa. I went in there with another British guy, and we did a lot of catch can style wrestling holds, a lot of ground holds, a lot of locks, counter reversals, things like that. And I remember Steve Kern was like, it's amazing stuff, but you have to switch it up to appeal to the WWE style audience, and obviously as well as the American style audience. So, yeah, I mean, obviously it all sticks in my mind. I remember that I could go in there and do catch can style, as easy as I can do pro style. But the transition was, I'm still transitioning to today. Today trying to learn new things and as well as keeping that old catch as catch can British technical wrestling style in my routine.
Wicked Nemesis, come on board.
What made you want to get into wrestling? What made you want to become a wrestler?
Like I say, that one match at SummerSlam '98. I mean, I was obviously, like everyone else, I was a big fan of the Attitude Era, and I really got into it around 97, 96, 97, and when The Rock came on the scene, I thought he was the coolest thing, and I was one of them guys who would imitate him and try and do promos like him, and go to school and tell people to shut up, and he's saying smell what I'm cooking, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I would have to just hold it all to The Rock, really. I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, without watching The Rock as a kid, I don't think I ever would have wanted to be a wrestler. And it's crazy because it's not kind of wrestling that I was taught to do for 5 years in England. It's not the kind of over the top entertainment that I was that I started off doing, but at the same time, it's what made me love pro wrestling, and as well as that, it's just everything about it. Being able to play with the fans' emotions and two warriors, two characters, cartoon characters, action hero characters, whatever, beat the crap out of each other, as well as draw them into the match and tell a story that they can be involved with, the crowd can be involved with, not sit there and see a lot of guys jumping around and not understand what's going on, but they can be drawn into it and get behind the heroes and who the villains, and understand what every move is, what's in the match. And just as a fan watching all that, I just, at one point, I just thought, I can do this. I can get into it, and not just give it a go, but be one of the best doing it.
Now, if I could ask, and this is going to be a little bit off cuff, with the Olympics having just been completed, coming out of London, actually a two-part question. Let's make it three. Number one, how do you feel that London pulled off the Olympics and NBC pulled off the coverage? Number two, if people came to you and said, I'm getting ready to go in that direction as far as visiting England, what would you say would be the don't miss, aside from the norm? And three, if you know that they're a wrestling fan getting ready to go over there, would you give them any kind of heads up about there's going to be a little bit of a difference in the styles between what you're used to seeing here in the lower 48 as opposed to what you started doing? And you can hit those in any order.
Okay, so the first one, the coverage from, what was it, the coverage from NBC and the
Olympics
in London. I have to say I didn't really catch much of it. I was working a lot, and I have a 14-month-old son, so I kind of just tried to grab the highlights of it and everything, and I didn't really get to see much of the Olympics. I know it sounds bad, but I don't think I could give that much of an opinion on that, because in total for the 2 weeks I was running, I probably only got to watch like an hour of of a few events and stuff. So I feel bad being a British man not really watching the Olympics, but I think it was great for the country. I watched a bit of the opening ceremony and the finishing ceremony, and I think they did a good job. And yeah, I mean, as far as the athletes and all that go, I didn't really get enough coverage of it myself to opinionate on it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. See, my personal vantage point is I wish NBC could have put as much effort into the coverage as London did the effort to put on the games. I think London did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I mean, did they have like a delayed coverage or something like that?
Perpetually.
I'm not entirely sure. The only times I watched a few of them, the events, were when I was at work, so I wasn't really entirely sure which channel it was on or anything, and I work overnight, so I'm talking like 2 o'clock in the morning. So So.
And that would have been 8 a.m. London time, right?
Yeah, I mean...
6 hour difference.
They were showing highlights from the previous day, though, so...
Okay.
But I did hear that they did a delayed coverage because over in England, obviously, it's happening around noon, like morning, noonish, early morning. And then obviously everyone's working over here when that's happening, so... Yeah, I don't know. Is that what they did? I don't know.
Let's go ahead and bypass the second part of the questions about the tourist attractions, and if you and I knew each other a little bit better, and I told you I was getting ready to go over, and I wanted to take in a couple of different shows, not necessarily mentioning the names of promotions unless you really just want to, what would be the first thing you would tell me about what I should expect to be different?
I'm going over as a wrestler or as a fan?
As a wrestling fan.
I would say, number one, you can go over there and within a week, 2 weeks, probably catch half a dozen to, if you're lucky, a dozen shows without traveling that much. You can probably hop on a train to, let's see where there's shows. You can hop on a train to, around Manchester area, hop over to down south a little bit around Birmingham, England way, not Alabama, obviously, London way. You could, as far as consistency in shows, it's pretty remarkable because, I have a lot of friends, obviously, workers over there and then fans over there. And it seems like there's something going on not just every weekend, but every week. And there is a few guys who still run that I worked for when I was over there, who ran 6-7 days a week, traveling up and down the country. So I would say that would be number one. Is if you are going over there, you're going to be prepared to go see a lot of shows.
Cool.
If you want to put in the effort to travel up and down on trains or buses or whatnot, but it's there if you want to see it.
Mabo, come on in. One more round.
Okay. Your top 3 British wrestlers and your top 3 American wrestlers.
Top three British wrestlers. Current or anytime?
Anytime.
Anytime. Number 1 would be Dave Finlay, Fit Finlay. Number 2, I don't know. I would like to say Dynamite Kid in his prime. Number 3, I would go for Jim Breaks. I always enjoy watching, if anyone's ever heard of him.
Actually, I have seen a little bit of him.
Say that again, sorry?
I've seen a little bit of him from the 80s.
Yeah, his main time was around late 70s, early 80s for World of Sport and then into All-Star Wrestling. But yeah, Jim Breaks is. You could literally watch. I can watch his matches, and this is in in the catch can round style. He could have a match 30, 45 minutes long, and you will be glued to the TV the entire time. You won't look away, and you will you come away telling. I started watching like more British wrestling. As soon as I started liking wrestling in '96, I had to know everything about wrestling. So I got a lot of tapes from the old World of Sport years, 60s, 70s, 80s. And I would watch Jim Breaks, and I would go talk to everyone about him. They didn't necessarily have to be wrestling fans. I would just go, and there's this guy, Jim Breaks. He's he's a little weasel, he's a little crybaby, but he's awesome. He just gets in there and kicks the crap out of these guys, and then he's just so entertaining how he does it. But yeah,
I thought. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to say I thought some of the matches he had with Johnny Saint were just phenomenal.
Yeah, the one that stands out in my mind is the one he had with Davey Boy Smith when Davey was, I think he was only 15, and he took him on a match. He had a match like 40 minutes long, and he grounded Davey, kept him down, and in the end, you know, you're talking about Davey, but you know, if you understood the business, you're talking about how good Jim was. But he made Davey Boy look like a star at 15 years old. It's just professional work. Excellent.
Maybo, do you want to hit the second half of the question real quick?
Yeah, if you don't mind, your top 3 favorite American wrestlers.
Top 3 favorite American, I would say Shawn Michaels, Rock, and then number 3, probably. Oh, maybe Eddie Guerrero.
El Paso, Texas. We'll go that.
Good one.
Wicked Nemesis, real quick. One more round.
What has been your favorite moment in wrestling so far? Your favorite moment?
I would say being backstage at WrestleMania 2024 in Orlando. For numerous reasons, not even in the world of wrestling, but a lot of good things happened around that weekend, and just being backstage at WrestleMania 24, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, guys like that were all doing their thing that night, and some great matches. That was just like I was in awe the entire time, and yeah, that was like the big realization in my wrestling career that, you know, I set myself a dream to be a wrestler and be a great wrestler at that. And although I didn't actually do anything on the show, but I was there at WrestleMania. I was getting paid by WWE to do that, so you know, and at the time I was only 21 years old. So that was like my big thing, and I on a daily basis I do think back to that, and like, you know, I still got to remember that was just a taster of the glitz and glamour behind the scenes. You know, I've been to plenty of WWE shows behind the scenes, but WrestleMania 24 was just, you know, and then the night before, Hall of Fame, obviously. I got to see The Rock actually live inducting his father and grandfather in the Hall of Fame. So that's like my proud, like, that's the moment that I always think back to, like, that's the height of my wrestling career, which makes me, you know, proud that I made this choice to become a professional wrestler.
If I may, for people who want to find out a little bit more and definitely keep track of you on this wonderful thing called the World Wide Web, how can they find you?
I have a Twitter at Real Tommy Taylor. Follow me at Real Tommy Taylor. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Tommy Taylor. On Instagram, occasionally putting up pictures, silly pictures of what I'm eating and things like that, at Real Tommy Taylor. Also check out VintageFloridaWrestling.com, I believe, for shows that I'm doing in the Florida state. And that's probably about it off my own back.
And upcoming appearances, where can we see in the near future?
Well, for the next few weeks, I'm just taking a little time off, healing up my knee. I had surgery this year, so sometimes I overdo it. So I'm just taking a few weeks off to recuperate and spend a bit of time with my family. So the next time I'll be in the ring will be at Vintage Florida Wrestling, as they present All Out Brawl at Sanford Salvation Army in Florida on September 8th. Following that appearance, I have a few more around the state of Florida, including Wrestling for a Cause in Sanford, Florida on October 2nd, I believe. Oh no, October 11th, sorry. And then at the end of October, I'm going over to England to take part in a few shows, which will be the first time I've been over to England in 5 years. So very excited about that. And then, yeah, as soon as my health is 100%, I'll be back on the scene 100% as well, and you'll probably see a lot more of it.
Thank you for taking the time to come on with us tonight. We could easily go another hour because there's so many different areas that I'm sure you want to hit and that we'd like to hit as well. But the door is definitely open, and we'd love for you to come back on with us in the near future.
Most definitely, yeah. Definitely like to talk to you guys again.
Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest at this time, Tommy Taylor, has just gone Beyond Ringside, and we'll be back in just a minute right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
The odds of becoming a signed artist and having 3 #1 albums? 1 in 100 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of this performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It is with sound mind and body that I, James Fredericks III, after fighting with all direct family members for decades, leave my entire fortune of $32 million to the one friend I had in the end, the package delivery guy, Matt Songer.
Woohoo! Yeah! I had a feeling about this. I'm rich! Oh, this cannot be happening.
Actually, it's not happening.
What?
And it never will.
I don't get it.
There aren't even people here. That's just one of those murmuring sound effects.
Seriously?
Listen, if you want to have money in your future, don't rely on luck. Put $10 away each month. Cook once in a while instead of eating out.
Okay.
Pay down your high-interest credit card.
Right.
Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow.
So, no inheritance?
No. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas.
Feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
This is Angel, half of the Double Trouble Morning Team on Distant Thunder Radio, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Let's fly this thing. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside Sunday night, 6 minutes before the top of the hour. I want to give a very special thank you to Tommy Taylor for coming on with us tonight on Beyond Ringside. Great to have him on board, and definitely, like I said, look forward to having him back on in the near future. There's so many areas that I'm sure that we all wanted to hit, and we'll get a chance to do that in the near future. As previously stated, that big company out of the Northeast that gets a lot of TV exposure that really shouldn't. WWE SummerSlam starts in about 5 minutes from right now. I'm going to go ahead and cue this one in. I can't get the freaking mouse to work. Here we go. I should know the card by now, right? Right. And let me come over here to the chat room, and I'll be looking. Daryl, what's up? Cameron's Papa, good to see you. Wish I'd have seen the chat room at that point. I apologize for not being able to get the question in to Cameron's Papa. Thank you very much. Let's run this thing down real quick. Tonight, United States Championship. Well, that's actually going on right now, so I think predictions will be...
No, it's not. It's actually over with.
Yeah, what happened?
Don't know. What happened?
Antonio won.
So he won the...
See, this kind of brings me up to the... they've said this is his make or break moment. If he doesn't... If this doesn't work for him... expect to see him at Chikara next year.
Probably. Tag Team Championships, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth versus the Primetime Players. Mabo?
Well, since AW is gone, and that leads me to another thing, Vince does not want wrestling managers. I was kind of waiting to pop that later to let Wick go off. But, yeah, Vince says, screw it, I'm not doing managers anymore, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But, you know what? Even without a manager, I think they might do it. I'm going to go PTPs.
And Daryl went with the Primetime Players, Wicked Nemesis.
Primetime Players.
Clean sweep, I'm going Primetime Players. Intercontinental Championship, Miz, Ray. Mabo?
I think Miz.
Wicked?
Ray.
I'm going to go ahead and go Miz. I don't think he's had the belt long enough, and I think he needs a little bit more exposure with it. So personally, I'm going with the Mizanin on this one. Daryl went with Miz. Kane, Daniel Bryan, Mabo.
Kane?
Question mark?
Yeah, really. I mean, literally, it is. I'm gonna say Kane.
Wicked.
Daniel Bryan.
Daryl went with Kane. I'm going Daniel Bryan. Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, Mabo.
Jericho.
Wicked.
Jericho.
Going Chris Jericho as well, and he is definitely still able to win the big one. End of discussion on that one. I'll look to the chat in just a second, Daryl. Keep them coming in. WWE Championship. CM Punk, John Cena, Big Show, three-way dance. Mabo.
Punk.
Okay, there you go. You finally said somebody's name. I'm going to say Punk. I'm going to say Punk, and he will have it up until Night of Champions, but I'm going to say Punk right now.
Okay, Wicked.
Punk.
Okay. Daryl went with Punk on this one, Ziggler on the previous match. I'd like to see Big Show get it back, but I have a feeling Punk's going to retain. Is the World Heavyweight Championship going to take match, yes or no? I didn't see the end of the show Friday. It's still listed on WWE.com, so I'm assuming it's still...
It's going.
Okay. Sheamus, Alberto. Mabo.
I'm going to say Birdie.
Okay. Wicked.
Alberto.
I hate to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and agree. Alberto Del Rio. And it's really going to piss me off. Because I'm sorry. Alberto Del Rio's character, I can't even think enough of it to pronounce it properly. It's getting stale. It's getting boring. I'm sorry. They've got to do something, and making him more aggressive or just look like that much more of a heel antagonist jerk, roll him up into one, is not cutting it. I'd like to see Sheamus retain, but I'm going ADR. And Daryl went with Sheamus. I think I'm going to change and stick with... I'm sticking with ADR. Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Mabo.
He lost to Cena last time, right?
Yep.
I'm going to say Brock.
Wicked.
Brock.
Clean sweep on this part of the panel so far because they're not going to pay him that much money for him to go 0-2. They need to build him up to be the beast all over again. I think losing to Cena was the worst thing that they could have done. They should have went ahead and put him over Cena. It wasn't for a belt. From this vantage point, of course, Cena had just also done the job to The Rock, so this was the payoff for him doing the job at WrestleMania. Lesnar's got to go over tonight. Triple H is not full-time in the ring. So plain and simple, I'm going Lesnar. And Daryl went with Triple H. All right. Which match do you think is going to steal the show, Mabo?
None of them?
Wicked.
Jericho Ziggler.
Thank you. Jericho Ziggler. I was trying to go back over my head the card. Yes, I will say Jericho Ziggler.
I'm going to go with a tie on this one. Jericho Ziggler and Miz Mysterio. I think Mizanin has come a long way, and I think he's going to show it tonight in the Intercontinental title match. From that vantage point, world title on the line, WWE Championship on the line, Intercontinental title on the line, Tag Team title on the line, U.S. Championship already been defended. Where the hell is the Divas title? Mabo, quick thought.
The Divas title?
Yeah.
I can't say that. We're a family show. The Divas title is probably collecting dust in the bottom of Layla's shoe closet.
Okay. Wicked, your thought.
September 8th, NWA Women's World Champion Tasha Simone will be defending the only women's championship that matters in Lebanon, Tennessee, NWA Top Rope. Once again, September 8th. That's what I have to think about the Divas title. It's a diva, not a wrestling title. It's a Divas title, not a knockout title.
See, I have to say this. First off, Daryl just said in the toilet. By the way, he went with Jericho Ziggler's match of the night also. And I have to disagree with Vince McMahon and everybody else on this one because I'm just going to sit back and say this. It needs to be called the Women's Championship, not the Divas title because, sorry, I have the old school translation. Bleep it if you have to. I'm from the school of thought that says the word diva means bitch, plain and simple. Sorry, because and I'm just going to leave it at that. Plain and simple.
Bitch.
Huh?
Just call me a bitch. Just call me a bitch.
I didn't call you a bitch.
I've got a diva personality because I like to be treated like a god. That's why I got into wrestling.
That's not a diva personality. That's an omnipotency complex.
I love Chad Johnson.
You're a
I don't condone headbutting women, but I like Chad Johnson.
Easy. You're a megalomaniac. You trying.
Oh, God, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just an egocentric, one-dimensional, shallow pain in the ass. But just ask anybody who knows me, especially anybody living under the same roof. They'll say that in a blink of an eye. Ain't that right, Cindy? Thank you for... There you go.
You ladies, I heard Maybo cooks a mean eggplant casserole.
And he's also good with pancakes and maple syrup, too. And we'll be back in 5 right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside. And you are a better person for it. Trust me.
Foreclosure is hard on every member of the family, but your family is not alone. If you're struggling with your mortgage, there is help. To learn about the government's Making Home Affordable program, visit makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE to speak to a HUD-approved housing counselor. It's free of charge. Visit makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE today. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, NeighborWorks America, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Joe Elliott from Def Leppard for RAD. Planning on going out and having a party? Great, have a lot of fun. But do me a big favour and don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives. You should too.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Robin Zander.
Hello, this is Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick for RAD.
Some people think it's fun to drive drunk, but that's unacceptable.
Be smart. If you drink,
don't drive.
Think ahead and choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans from around the world, I'm Lightning Mike Quackenbush, the master of 1,000 holds, and you're locked in for Beyond Ringside.
Citizens of America, this is a message from feedthepig.org. Americans spent more money than they earned in 2005. This is the first negative savings rate in the U.S. since the Great Depression. America, we must start feeding the pig. On the 1st and the 15th, we must pay ourselves before we pay anyone or anything. We must make a budget. Even consider cutting up a credit card. Log on to feedthepig.org today. Find the benefits of saving for every stage of life. Brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
This is your boy, Miggity Miggity Maybo, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
There once was a boy wizard whose name was Larry Smarter.
Larry, why weren't you in Professor Dinky Doodle's mythical creature classification class? Well, I'm taking Algebra 2 in a foreign language. Oh, so you can talk to unicorns? Not exactly, unless they're French.
Larry wanted to go to college, so he visited knowhowtogo.org to find the classes he really needed. Getting into college doesn't happen magically. Learn more at knowhowtogo.org.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. This is Jerry the King Lawler. That's right, the host of the #1 rated show in all of cable television, Monday Night Raw. That's right, Jerry the King Lawler, WWE Hall of Famer, Jerry the King Lawler, and I am locked into Beyond Ringside.
Welcome to Move Time Radio, presented by the Arthritis Foundation, and we're smack dab in the middle of our dance-a-thon to fight arthritis pain. Me, I've been grooving for 10 hours straight, baby, but I'm a boogie machine. See, movement is just one of the ways to help fight osteoarthritis pain. Another is weight loss. You get rid of just 1 pound. That's 4 pounds of pressure off each knee. For more information on managing pain, visit fightarthritispain.org. Then meet me on the dance floor. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey people, this is the Machine Cuff Grayson, live and in your face.
And remember, you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Welcome to the Maya and Miguel Challenge. Meet Maya and the gang.
Oh, hi, I'm Maya.
Maya and her friends want you to get up and play, because it's always more fun to be active.
Let's get started.
Just go to letsmove.gov and look for Maya and Miguel. You'll find tons of fun activities that'll help keep you healthy and active. Whether you play sports, run, dance, or jump in place, just get up and play at least an hour a day. Take the Maya and Miguel Challenge today at letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Everybody out there, this is the human hand grenade, Danny Only. 1/2 of the Hate Junkies, 1/5 of POD, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hi, this is Little Steven for Rad. We all got to party now and then, but we've got to let somebody else do the driving. Please don't drink and drive, and don't drive with somebody else who's been drinking. Thank you.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Dan the B7, the only Triple Crown champion in the UFC history, and you're listening to Beyond Ringside.
You have tuned in and are now live listening to the 3-time NWA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Scrapper and Adam Pearce, and just like you, I am also locked in, and brother, we are Beyond Ringside.
This is Angel Orsini.
This is the human hand grenade, Danny Only.
This is Dirty Dutch Mantel.
This is Liz Savage.
This is Vinny O'Brien, 2010 Golden Glove champion. This is Gabe Sapolsky from Dragon Gate USA and Evolve Pro Wrestling, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Cocked, locked, ready to rock. And that's an understatement. Welcome to Beyond Ringside Sports Radio. Glad to have you on board live on a Sunday night, 7 after the top of the hour. Fast Eddie Lane, live from the Vault in the Full Range Entertainment Studios in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. Occasionally Birmingham, Alabama, but hey, that's just me. Welcoming in tag team partners Mark Mabo Bowman.
I would like to, today, first of all, I would like to wish White Lightning Tim Horner a happy birthday, because it's his birthday, which would be the day he was born. I just really am trying to stall because I can't find how old he was. But for those who listen to the show, we'll get that reference here coming up in the next few minutes.
You got it. Welcoming in tag team partner, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Tommy Taylor, for coming on, and our guest coming up. Oh, this is going to be a great interview. Once again, fans, this is what wrestling is all about. Or the radio-wise, anyways.
There you go, and more so than a lot of people think. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome in a very special guest at this time, professional wrestling star Grizzly Redwood. Glad to have you on board tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
First off, not only live events, not only television, broadcasting, podcasting as well. Is there anything in this industry that you haven't done?
Not much.
Now, let me go ahead and take it back a little bit. Where did it all really begin for Grizzly Redwood? What made you a fan of this business?
You know, it's going to sound a little weird, but I was about 6 or 7. I was walking into my grandparents' house, and a bunch of kids on the block were outside playing with some action figures. And I had to go see what they were playing with. And it turned out to be a bunch of new wrestling action figures. Bushwhackers, rockers, everybody. And from there on, looking at all the cool toys are rising me up to what the toys were. And it was all good from there.
Mabo, come on board.
Now, Grizz, for those who know you and who know your, I guess, if you want to put it in comic book terms, your origin story, so to speak, you definitely had a harried childhood, so to speak. Do you want to enlighten the listeners on that?
Indeed, and I was very sick when I was born. I was born 3 months premature. Weighed about 1 pound when I was born, had about 6 or 7 surgeries over the next few years to do a bunch of reconstruction for my throat and my mouth. I have a lung deficiency currently, but I just kind of ignore it. And was supposed to get past the age of 4. Doctors weren't too optimistic with how far I'd go.
Wicked Nemesis, come on board.
What made you want to get into wrestling? Was it a moment? Was it a person? What made you decide that you wanted to get into this great business of ours?
I think it was a lot of things. Can't pinpoint one exact moment where I thought, I'm going to do this. It was just watching it for so long and loving it, and the love I had for wrestling never really died after a while. And at some point, I guess I figured, this is what I want to do. This seems like a fun way to make a living.
Now, how many different promotions is that just going to be a totally off the cuff question? How many different promotions have you worked with? And if I have to ask you for one moment that really sticks out in your mind as far as working with different ones, I mean, as far as not necessarily do-over moments, but it's like, I want to go ahead and carry this to the best of reel.
Well, man, how many I've worked for? Maybe a good bit. I would say maybe at least 25. To count all the independent promotions around the country. As far as moments, definitely the first time I did the Grizzly Redwood. A match I had with Brody Lee and King of Trios for Chikara. And a match I had with Eric Stevens for Ring of Honor.
Now, you've done everything from solo matches all the way to trios matches, multiple tag partners, varied styles of matches. Is there one where you'll sit back and say, this is going to be a really good night when you get a chance to work a particular style of match, much less a particular person in the ring?
I always try to look at every match that it's going to be a good night because it's just fun, and I'm glad I get the opportunity to wrestle. I've had a lot of fun doing tag matches over my career. I've definitely had quite a few tag partners. Brody Lee, who was a lot of fun to tag with, Necro Butcher, who taught me a lot tagging with him. And now currently my state tag team partner is Jake Manning. He's one half of the Great Outdoors, and he's a lot of fun to do matches with.
Maybo, come on board.
Oh, the man scout, Jake Manning. How could
he is the man?
how could one not just admire the shortest shorts I've ever seen close to Philly Gunn? But let me ask you this:
short of 1980s NBA.
If Eddie says off the cuff, then I'm going to not only just ignore the cuff, I'm going to say off the pants completely. Do you find it more comfortable to wrestle barefoot, or is it just like a thing? Do you just love the feel of the canvas on your feet?
Well, I've been wearing boots for about maybe a year and a half now again. But when I started wrestling barefoot, I was fine with it. I loved it. The only down part to it was walking around the locker room. Some of these locker rooms barefoot, which can get pretty gross, especially in the old arena. But it was a story angle where on the other side was burnt my boots. Stole my boots and burned them at the embassy. So I had no more boots, and I got really used to wrestling barefoot. It was comfortable. It was easy to get dressed. It was all right.
Wicked Nemesis, come on board.
What has been your favorite moment so far in wrestling?
Oh man, there have been a lot of them. I've been fortunate enough to be in a lot of fun situations too. So it's really hard to pick out one. I'd probably have to say as of right now, I got to wrestle on the ROH on HDNet show against my trainer, who was world champion at the time.
Okay. Now, with the different areas, the different geographic areas that you've been a part of and that you've worked matches in, worked shows for, we talk about the fan bases in different areas on this show on a regular basis. Per se, the southeastern United States, where, of course, a lot of things were storyline and character-driven, whereas you've got other areas where they will look at an individual as far as their skill set, move set, and how they execute during a match. If there's one thing that you would attest to, now, I know you do a lot out of the Northeast, but you've worked all over. Where has been one of the more difficult areas as far as the fan base is to try to gauge reactions for you?
Everywhere can be tough in its own way. I'd say the only place you can really get your nerves going for me, as far as I hope they don't shit on me, is New York City, without a doubt.
Okay. Now, when you're getting ready to go into, we always look at different shows as far as not necessarily the importance of each show, because we look at it, because I know all of us look at each show as that opportunity or the next opportunity to really showcase who we are and what we can do. When you've got a big event coming up, per se, if ROH is putting together an pay-per-view and they ask you to come be a part of it, or Chikara Pro's got, per se, an event coming up and they're going to be doing a DVD taping, or you've got, the general idea. Your focus. How do you gear yourself up personally for appearances on larger shows?
Definitely there's a little bit of extra excitement and extra little bit of nerves in a bigger show situation. I try to push it all pretty much the same, though. Just focus on the match, what I have to do in the match, and stay loose and have fun with it. Because if you don't, I think that translates and we could turn out into a poor showing.
Before I turn it back to the cast, there's one that I like to ask, especially in this modern era. We're internet-based radio that I treat as with the same rules and stipulations, so to speak, or a characterization of terrestrial radio. And we look at the way that the internet has evolved or devolved in certain cases. And in some ways, we all admit that the internet has helped us because of marketing, advertising, not to mention being able to get our own personal stories out and push for ourselves as individuals as well as the companies. But from your vantage point, like I said, since you've seen so many different places and worked with so many different styles of people and types of people, do you think, on a personal note, that there are more people who are more interested in getting themselves over than the companies they're working with? Or do you think the opposite on that?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Well, I guess with the internet, a lot of people are generally trying to get themselves over a lot. I like to approach it as, if I'm going to be on a show somewhere, say I work for the Premier Wrestling Experience a lot down in the Carolinas, right there with the Mansdown. But when I'm gearing up for those shows, I'm definitely I'm pushing the promotion. People are first one, come see this, come see that, come see this, come see me, come see the Man Scout. So I'm trying to get myself over as well as the company, so everybody comes out and watches, supports the whole thing. So if you're going to support the whole thing, they're going to support you in the long run too. I don't think there's a way where a lot of people are generally pro wrestling to be a me business. A lot of people, I think, do attack it that way.
Okay. Mabo, come on board.
How exactly did you break into this wonderful business called pro wrestling, and where did you receive your initial training from?
Well, I received my initial training up in the Worcester, Pennsylvania, about 30 minutes north of Philadelphia, the Ring of Honor Wrestling Academy under Austin Aries, who brought myself and Matt Titus in as we trained together. I went there late June of 2005 because they had a tryout. Did my tryout, got through it, got accepted into the school in July of 2005. Started training. I was living about 4.5 hours away from the school. 3.5 if I was driving really, really fast, which that got me in some trouble. But that's how I started.
Wicked Nemesis.
Now, you've had some great matches in your career. You've had matches that, let's say, internet fans go gaga over. What, in your mind, has been your favorite match? Not necessarily your favorite, but your favorite match of all these matches. I know you've had thousands of matches. But can you think of just one match that you're just like, that is the match, God forbid, let's say December 21st, 2012, the minds are right. What would be the match that you would want everyone to remember Grizzly for, I guess?
Oh, man, I've had quite a few matches that I just really loved and had a lot of fun with, and got great responses from the crowd. I mean, if I'm gonna pick one that says like this is Grizzly Redwood, and this is what I do, is what I can bring to the table, I would say I had a match with Eric Stevens at Supercard of Honor 5 that I thought was a match that nobody expected to really be that great, and I thought we went out there and had a wonderful match.
Now,
plus it was in New York City, which puts that extra little level on it.
Taking a break from the norm, I believe Maybo had originally asked you if you would be willing to enter the lightning round here on Beyond Ringside. Are you still up for that?
Sure, why not?
Okay, basically what the lightning round is, there are no wrong answers. It's always the first thing that pops into your head, other than, did he really just ask me that? He says he's brave enough to run it, ladies and gentlemen. Grizzly Redwood now enters. Maybo, do the intro.
The Lightning Mike Quackenbush / White Lightning Tim Horner lightning round.
Maybo, take point.
Grizzly Redwood versus Brody Lee versus Eric Young in a beard off. Who wins?
I win.
The most dangerous character known to humankind, Tyrannosaurus Rex or Dan Severn's mustache?
Dan Severn's mustache.
Wicked.
Dan Severn's mustache against Grizzly Redwood's beard.
Oh, my beard, hands down.
That's the first time. That is the first loss for Dan Severn's mustache ever.
I had a feeling Wicked was going to throw that one at you. That's why I went ahead and took mine to begin with. Now, War Game Circumstance. You get to choose your partners. Who are they going to be? The Backstreet Boys or the New Kids on the Block?
Ooh. I'm going to say New Kids on the Block, 'cause I heard they had a history of fighting on planes.
And Donnie Wahlberg had a tendency to set hotel rooms on fire. Maybo.
Yep.
Flapjacks versus pancakes versus waffles versus French toast sticks versus French toast. What does Grizzly Redwood put on his plate?
Flapjacks win. Always maple syrup.
Wicked.
Have you ever went 5,000 miles to give someone your seed?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Voltron. The Season 1 Megazord from the Power Rangers or Optimus Prime. Which one is more likely to be cavity searched at LaGuardia Airport?
Optimus Prime.
Maybo.
Is it true that you may or may not be the illegal progeny of Big Josh?
Untrue.
Wicked.
If a bear craps in the woods, does that mean that it's good for the? Does that mean what's good for the geese is good for the gander?
Yes, indeed. It's the woods. How that?
And how do you prevent forest fires?
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And that brought to you by the Ad Council. And Doris Roberts from Everybody Loves Raymond or Betty White? Who has the better sex tape?
Oh, Betty White.
Maybo.
If you could wear one pair of famous suspenders in the ring, whose suspenders would they be? Larry King's or Mork from Mork and Mindy?
Larry King's.
Wicked.
Of anybody across any generation of any time, what is your match? Grizzly Redwood against who is your dream match?
Andre the Giant.
Oh.
Two-part question. The better sidekicks for the Super Friends, Zanjana Gleek or Wendy Marvin and Wonder Dog?
Wendy Marvin and Wonder Dog.
From that vantage point, you're about to be inducted into the Justice League. What one superpower would you have?
White.
Maybo.
Have you ever hidden anything in your beard? Food, writing utensils?
The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders?
Yes, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
I have not at liberty to say what I put in my beard.
I got that same phone call from the FBI. Wicked.
Who is your favorite superhero of all time?
Superman.
And I'll take the closer. When the story, full-scale cinematic release of Grizzly Redwood is brought to the big screen, who plays you right now, current day?
You have to get in shape, but I'd say Zach Galifianakis.
And
yes!
And ladies and gentlemen, he has survived the lightning round. Chris, thank you for taking part on that one. I hope you had fun doing that part.
No problem. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Now, we make the reference to comic books on more than one occasion, especially during the lightning round. Your synopsis on how many people, the percentage of people that you know personally in this industry who are big crossover sci-fi or comic book fans, from your perspective.
Tell you what, a lot more than the people I knew that were reading a lot of comics before I got into wrestling. So I don't really read them very much. I just started watching The Walking Dead, or reading The Walking Dead recently. But I would say, because I'm in Chicago a lot, so the percentage might be up there a lot more. But I'd say around 50-60%.
Ooh, you just gave me a good idea for a question for the lightning round for future days. The zombie apocalypse is forthcoming. What reality star do you shove in front of the zombies to make your escape?
Johnny Fairplay.
Mabo.
That's great.
Okay, so you said you started watching. You're watching and reading The Walking Dead, correct?
Yep.
How are you enjoying the differences between the comics and the TV show?
Well, the show started picking up again in the second season, because I thought at the end of the first season the show kind of petered off. A little uninteresting to me, but now the show's pretty gripping again. And the book, I'm pretty deep into it. This is night and day from the TV show. The book is a lot crazier than the show does.
Oh, definitely. I'm a big fan. Actually, I started reading the comics first, and just some of the stuff. They do in the comics just is amazing. But just on a personal note, do you think they'll ever bring Daryl into the comics?
I'm sure he'll end up there.
I think they have. I think they have brought him into the comics now.
Like within the past few issues?
Yeah, I think so.
He is.
Sounds like we need to get Mabo up to Bob's Comics up in Trussville so he can update his subscription list.
No, he needs to let me know.
Oh, there you go. Wicked, come on board.
Really quick, I have to ask you, you've done a ton in this industry. How do you feel the state of wrestling is right now on August 19th, 2012?
Not the strongest it's ever been, but not the worst. Wrestling is a fickle business. You got very high highs and very low lows. So it's somewhere in the middle right now.
If I could, we're going to go one more round of the question that I'd like to use for my one more round.
All right.
We see that wrestling a lot of times allows us to be extensions of our real personality while embellishing that much more to be in-ring talent, whether it be, hero, villain, face, heel, antagonist, protagonist, however, whatever label you want to put on it. Away from the business, what would you tell people the easiest way to describe you away from the ring is?
Oh, wow. Oh, well, laid back.
Mabo.
Now, for those who know you, they know you're not the biggest man in the pro wrestling business, but you have strived and you have succeeded, and you've been on TV, countless pay-per-views and DVDs and such. What's the one piece of advice you would give to someone who is just now getting started?
Don't stop working hard, man. Wrestling is a difficult business, and it's not easy to make it in by any stretch of the imagination. And especially coming from a guy who's much smaller than the norm in pro wrestling. Just got to keep working hard at it. If you don't work hard at it, you're not going to get anything out of it.
If I could, upcoming appearances, where can we find you in upcoming days?
Well, I got a couple weeks off. I believe our 100% next season will be September 14th at the Pro Wrestling Syndicate show. And then who knows where I might show up before that. I just have to wait to
And how can people find you on the social media?
You can find me on Twitter at Grizzly Redwood or look up Grizzly Redwood on Facebook.
Okay. First off, thank you for taking the time to come on board with us. I do appreciate you spending your Sunday, just like we all do. We all appreciate you spending time on your Sunday night with us. And please, the door is always open. If you've got upcoming events that you want to try to get the word out about, get in touch with us. Let us know if you'd like to come back on in person or just make sure that we get a mention. Either way works for us. We just want to say thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, our very special guest at this time, the one, the only Grizzly Redwood, has just gone Beyond Ringside. And we will be back on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network right after this.
I'm Ellen, daughter of Gordon Soley, and you are locked in on Beyond Ringside.
Hi, NBA forward Kevin Durant from the Oklahoma City Thunder, here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have more energy to do the things you like to do.
And that's a slam dunk.
Whether you like to shoot hoops like me, skateboard, ride a bike,
or dance on your roof,
be a player.
Get up, play, and move it your way.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Oh, yes, this is Paul Bear, and some people call me Percy Pringle III. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Let me drive.
How do you know when it's time to give up the keys? When your dog grabs your keys from your lap and your lap is on the floor. Yep, it's Jeff Foxworthy for RAD saying, when you party, be sure to designate before you celebrate.
Hi, this is Ozzy Osbourne. For many years, you know I've had a drink problem and I'm trying to battle that problem every single day. But one thing I don't drive my car when I'm drinking. I get someone to drive me. Do not drink and drive. It's the stupidest thing. If you drink, just don't drive. Not only are you going to hurt yourself, you may hurt some other person, and you wouldn't want that on your conscience, would you?
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
The odds of becoming a signed artist and having 3 #1 albums? 1 in 100 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of this performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
We all lock our doors at night to keep our family safe, but we can't so easily lock out H1N1 flu.
Truth is, you can. The simplest and safest protection against H1N1 recommended by the CDC is vaccination. The H1N1 vaccine is safe, effective, and the most important step to keeping healthy.
Stop H1N1 at the door. Keep it away from your family.
Get yourself and the ones you love vaccinated. Visit flu.gov to get a vaccination near you.
Be the one to protect your family from H1N1.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate, because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You must be your fairy godmother. Yes.
It doesn't take a fairy godmother to tell you that the right fit means everything.
Good heavens, child. You can't go in that.
Children under 4'9" need to be in a booster seat because they aren't ready for adult safety belts alone. Remember that 4'9" is the magic number, and get your little pumpkin there safely in a booster seat.
Oh, thank you.
For more information, visit boosterseat.gov. This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Most days go by without a whole lot of surprises. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life, as you know it, has completely turned on its head? Would you be prepared? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Oh, yes, This is Paul Bear, and some people call me Percy Pringle III. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Let me drive.
How do you know when it's time to give up the keys? When your dog grabs your keys from your lap and your lap is on the floor. Yep, it's Jeff Foxworthy for Rad saying, when you party, be sure to designate before you celebrate.
If you want to make it home alive, let me drive.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Please don't drink and drive. It's not fun.
This is the Bee's Knees, the Cats Pajamas, and the whole shebang. Johnny Gargano, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hi, I'm Ryan Seacrest for RAD. Over 300 people in this country are killed every week by a drunk driver. That's the equivalent of 2 747 plane crashes every single week. And the problem isn't going away unless we all do our part to stop it. So if you see someone who's about to drive after drinking, get the keys. Don't leave it up to anyone else. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
It's me. It's that D to the O to the double G. Always see you next year. Yeah, doggy style. The road dog, Jesse James. And you're locked in to Beyond Ringside. Get it? Got it? Good.
Hi, this is Jamie McMurray here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Want to make a difference? It's simple. Be responsible. Plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Yes, I'm gonna be a star. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Move Time Radio, presented by the Arthritis Foundation. Ah, that's a good one. Get up and dance, baby. If you're driving, pull over to the shoulder. If you're at work, yeah, time to violate the employee handbook. See, movement is just one of the ways to help fight osteoarthritis pain. Another is weight loss. You get rid of just 1 pound. That's 4 pounds of pressure off each knee. For more information on managing pain, visit fightarthritispain.org, baby. This message is brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Jacoby Boykins, a.k.a. the Alabama Ambassador, Mr. 256, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate, because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Aloha, this is Tracy Taylor, all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii, the island girl, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Nancy O'Dell here for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, then it becomes everybody's business. So please plan ahead, call a cab, or designate a driver before the party starts. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
Baby, you can drive my car. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
It's been a crazy night, and I've loved every minute of it. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside, live on a Sunday night. 21 before the top of the hour, Fast Study Lane in the vault in the Beyond Ringside studios in Birmingham, USA. Or Birmingham, I don't know anymore. Mabo! Mark Bowman, come on back.
Yeah, as soon as we wrap up this show, Tinker Galoot, I'm coming for that last $20 you owe me. And I will be going to the place that no longer wanted Beyond Ringside. And I'm getting my money. So get ready, son.
Ooh, it's not that they didn't want us over at F&H. It's just the fact that I won't step foot back in that place. Wicked Nemesis, come on back.
I always like to win with a fruit roll up, too.
There you go. And in that case, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Indecisive fruit roll up, too. trying to keep track of the pay-per-view as we can. Of course, I'm surrounded by 4 monitors that are doing 4 different things at one time, so it's kind of hard for me to keep track of what's going on in the outside world. Want to give a very special thank you to Tommy Taylor for coming on with us here on Beyond Ringside. Special thank you to Grizzly Redwood for joining us here on BR. The full episode will be uploaded tomorrow, guaranteed. On Monday night, I'll have the links out for everything. Something we did recently, last Monday night.
I didn't do nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
There you go. You slept, I think.
Yeah, dang right I did.
Yours truly, along with the Wicked Nemesis, we're in a full-scale...
Quit using his shit. No, quit using his shoot name. Or that other word.
Yeah, I know. Beep. Yachts. I'm sorry. There are some things in this world I know I should not say. Snap. However, this past Monday, we had a chance to sit down via Skype conference with NWA Women's World Champion Tasha Simone and the Chief of Officials for the National Wrestling Alliance, Mr. Fred Richards, and had a great discussion. Here's the fun part. When you get into a discussion and you've budgeted an hour to work with and it goes 2 hours, you know that is a magical moment. That is one of those things where it's just etched in time as like you can't change anything and you can't rush it, because if I'd have gone back, and I've gone back and listened to it twice, and it is playing on our 24 channel, and it has been loaded to our podcast. The link is going to be distributed later tonight. We had an opportunity to cover a lot of topics, personal positions, professional standpoints, and I will say this, my hat is off. Wicked, tremendous. Tasha, tremendous. Fred, thank you. Hell of a man. And, I look forward to having more of those roundtable discussions in the upcoming days. And
that only went 2 hours. That seemed like that went about 3.5 hours.
No, it went, the recorded segment went 2. We were actually talking for 35 minutes before and 20 minutes after. But
69, dude.
Huh?
Sorry.
I
forgot we were on the air.
It's also Wicked's mention of the time-space continuum, because he was probably high for half of it, right?
No, what it was he had gotten hold of the space-time continuum transfunctioner, which both modifies space and time.
It's called my bong pipe. I do not do that anymore. Damn it. I really should.
Either.
Yeah, he doesn't either, Eddie. Mark.
Yeah,
seriously.
The only thing I smoke now is salmon.
And salmon. I'll say it.
Every once in a while, I'll smoke Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's not what I'm talking about. You smoke.
Look, French toast sticks. Leave it alone.
Look, Paul McGee. All right.
On your knee for Paul McGee. However, don't get me started. Let's go ahead and take this whole roundtable thing in more ways than there you go. I was trying to say it full bore and it just did not come out that way. I've been having one of my weeks. Like I said, I'm effing exhausted. And
hey, Wick, I don't know about you, but do you always take it full hole?
Yes, he does.
Or do you just usually leave a tip?
That is horrible. Simon Sermon just become a big fan of Beyond Ringside.
Well, thank you, Simon. Great to hear from you.
We need to link this to him. I may have to, if this goes up on YouTube, which I'm sure it will. And thank you once again to all the people who have helped Mabo become a YouTube star.
Yes.
The Beyond Ringsides have been up from like the last 2 months, and the responses are all the same.
More Mabo.
I can't hear this because Mabo actually talked a good bit today. So thank you, because that just gave me about 500 more views.
No, it's not me. Although I would like to, honestly, how Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, when they do Dance on Bob Get Old, or Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman with Hollywood Babylon, or Smith and Scott Mosier with Smodcast, how they'll animate it sometimes. I wish we could find a company or find someone who would do an animated cartoon, just take bits of the show and animate it.
Yes, like the Smodco cartoons.
Yeah, it's basically like
Yes.
Like, I know me and you were smartened up to it, but I don't know about that other guy right there.
Yes, I have a clue.
For anybody listening to this podcast, it's Smodco, and I believe .com, and you can listen to the podcast. They have new podcasts every day. The Smodco cartoons are actually played on the Hulu during spoilers, and also to their YouTube. It's C-Smod, SEESMOD.
Or yeah, the MOD. Hey, because you can't spell SMOD without the MOD. But also, they're the SMOD Internet Radio, the SIR network. So go look up all that stuff. And yes, I do look like Kevin Smith. No, I'm not Kevin Smith. But if this gets Kevin Smith in contact with me, even better.
Let me just say this. You at Sacred Ground in 2010, and me when I was in college, like just like smoking weed every day, man, I swear to you, we could have went to a convention, people would have been like Noogans. They would have acknowledged us because I had long blonde hair.
Well, I've the long hair. In October we'll hit 2 years. It will be after the Chikara event in Piedmont, Alabama. After that, it's coming off and going to Locks of Love. The only reason why it wasn't cut before was because, you know, for those who do know, the giant growth that was on the side of my head almost killed me. Or as I've named it, Gary.
You've been watching too much Family Guy. I know, and we're not going to make a reference to that Viacom cartoon, too. Tell you what, let's go ahead and take it. 14 before the top of the hour. Mabo, last call.
Oh, shoot. I had a last call, and I totally forgot because we got talking about Smodcast. Last call. I miss... Okay. Oh, FCW is no more.
Yeah.
It is now officially NXT. They have changed everything. They've changed the website, which I really hope they do a better job at updating the roster and title changes and the who, the what, the hey, and the how. It's sad also that we cannot get NXT, FCW, whatever. It's sad that we cannot get it here in the United States for whatever reason. That really ticks me off because there's tremendous talent on the roster, and then coming up, you know, finally they've started making mention of guys like, or soon will be, Brody Lee, who I believe is now going by Luke Harper, and a couple other guys I've seen just pictures of that, you know, you just look at them and like, huh, well, they got a great look. Let's see how they can work. But I think, you know, the Brody Lee and a couple others aren't going to come in until they bring the best gimmick to come down the pike since Wicked Nemesis, Bray Wyatt. He might be out of action, but he will be back. And to kind of segue, and Pac too, the man that gravity forgot. Oh, can't wait for him to get to WWE. That's gonna be awesome. But that kind of segues into, you know, the releases that they had last week or a couple weeks ago with AW and all what he said, and then he ran his mouth even more, and now everybody's like, "Whoa, we had your back, but not anymore." But they also, I don't know if we mentioned, they also released Sophia Cortez, which was Eva Lise from Tough Enough, and normally I'm not glad to see anybody lose a job at all, especially in this, you know, hard economic time.
Yeah.
But they finally, because I don't even see why she got a contract in the first place. I mean, I know why. It's because of who her sister is. But Kaylee Turner, also, I believe she was Crawford. Anyways, frickin' Alicia Fox's sister. The one that answered the question of what was your favorite match of all time, and she was like Melina versus somebody else. It was on Tough Enough, and everybody was just like, really? Oh wait, no, that was the other one. Maybe that was the other one. I don't know. Anyway, Kaylee Turner, whatever her name is, she's gone. She was crap, and so yeah, go back to being a stripper or pseudo stripper or softcore porn actress, whatever. Just get your sister to write you a check, you know, every 2 weeks. You'll be happy. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point.
We can tell.
I'm coming for my money, you big galoot. I'm coming for my money, and you think I'm playing. I will smash your face into the frickin' wall at Fox and Hound. Oops, I said that. Sorry, Eddie.
I don't care.
Wicked Nemesis, last call.
Well, as those that follow me on Facebook know, or those, I'm sorry, that are friends with me on Facebook, I guess I should say, there is a show, quote unquote, 40 minutes or less from me. It was brought to my attention this past week that this outlaw show was using the wicked nemesis Caesar death mask on a ring rat. Yes, a ring rat being used as a valet instead of doing what she should be doing, and that's helping all the guys, you know, be strong guy bull and taking care of their needs behind the building as she should have been, is actually walking some guy that is 105 pounds in a tap-out T-shirt to the ring. She has the exact same red and black and white mask that friend of the show Danny Only's made for me that I gave to Calm Like a Bomb Pandora when she first joined the Prophets of Doom, which is an offshoot of the MOD. The exact same design, except where mine is red, hers is pink. Not only that, this girl, this ring rat, has fake white, like those wash-on tattoos all over her. The guy that comes out with her has a little bitty mohawk. This leads me to say this. People knew that they were stealing what we were doing and using it in an outlaw show. Obviously, by their fans, by the look of their fans, you know that there's no way in heck that these people ever know who I am, because they can't afford to go to the shows that I work, and they definitely can't afford a computer to listen to this great show or the To Be Determined show or any of the YouTube stuff that's up. People asked what I was going to do about it. Oh, something will be done about it, because any vet that lets this go on, I don't think she knew what she was doing. I think somebody gave this suggestion to her, which leads me to think that somebody saw what I was doing, what Pandora was doing, and thought that they could use it and nobody would ever find out, because I don't do outlaw shows. Well, I found out about it. Now, as you all know, I linked her Facebook message that she sent to me. This ring rat tells everybody that she is doing this for a hobby, or tells me she's doing it for a hobby. She knows she'll never go anywhere. Then why do it? If you know you're not going to go anywhere, if you know that for a split second that people break their bodies for this and you're just doing it as a hobby, take your stuff and leave. Do us all a favor. And for all the vets that allow this to go on, you're worse off than the guys and girls who do it, because you know better. Most of them do not. So Center, Alabama, anything that happens is your own fault. The legacy that you want to portray is a stack of cards, a house of cards that I have stacked in my favor. Game on. Eddie Lane, last call.
Thank you. I was waiting for the throw. Or the toss, take your pick. You know, this weekend, I worked 2 events. GCW making their debut in Canton, Georgia, at Sixes Presbyterian Church, where the ultimate irony was Murder One working a match at Sixes Presbyterian Church. Genuinely one of my favorite characters in this business. One half of the Usual Suspects also worked with AJ Steele that night. Not to mention also worked with Sean Banks and Crew Jones. Sexy, and I know it. That was funny as hell. John Saxon, and a lot of the great talent out of Georgia coming together with the stars of Global Championship Wrestling and the talent we have in our company, as well as other talent from the underground and different areas of Georgia. Last night, Pell City, Alabama, the Pell City Civic Center. Tremendous night. I got a little piece of information coming into Canton that somebody out of a little town in eastern Alabama had the audacity to shoot off his mouth about, yeah, I went around tearing down GCW posters, and the show had nothing to do with you. The show had nothing to do with you or your daddy's company. I'm not out to get rich in this industry. I do this for the love of the business. I do make a little bit of money where I am and for what I do. And it's not daddy's money. But for that certain individual who wants to go around thumping his non-existent chest, yeah, I took down GCW posters. Boy, you ain't a pro wrestler. Boy, you ain't a worker in this business. Boy, you nothing but a bitch. Plain and simple. I want people to understand my perspective on this business. I got into this industry because I fell in love with this business. I found something that I could fit in and be a part of in this business. It gave me a chance to be an extension of myself, which is probably one of the hardest working people you will ever find in any industry. When I'm booked on a show, Wicked and I are the same cloth. When we're booked on a show, we give 100% of our attention into the build-up for that show and the execution of what we're scheduled to do in that show. If you work for a company that is not even the same geographic or demographic region as a show going on that night, and yet you want to make a special trip to go try to tear down somebody else's product, you sure as hell ain't a worker in this business. A worker in this business is going to sit back and say, I'm off that night. Sure, they don't book me on that show, but you know something? I'm not going to go out of my way to hurt that show. That's a complete lack of respect for this industry. I'm nonpartisan when it comes to this show with Beyond Ringside. We have opened our doors to promotions across the lower 48 and abroad. Alaska, it's been represented. Hawaii's been represented. We've opened our doors to shows across and around the world. Australia, Germany. The fact of the matter is, something that a lot of people have lost for this industry, in this business, is the love of the business. I get a rush when I walk through that curtain, whether I'm being traditional, happy-go-lucky, fast Eddie Lane, or if I'm cast in a different line, if I'm put in a different angle. I enjoy this. I love this business. And I'm sick and tired of you little self-centered bitches who have nothing better to do with your time on a night when you're not booked than to try to tear down somebody else's product. I'm not mentioning names, but I think it's pretty effing obvious for those in the southeastern U.S. You know who I'm talking about. Boy, you think you're getting an invitation to come back on this show anytime soon? Not unless I get a full apology out of it. Because when you try to tear down a show that I'm working on, you're taking money out of my pocket. Not to mention the other workers who are on that show, the real workers who are on that show, the people who are getting in that ring and busting their ass for the people. There are people in this business who, because of the fact that they're on a smaller show, not an outlaw show, but a smaller show, that they're maybe making $20, $25, $50 on an appearance. And when you go around, start tearing down stuff and bad-mouthing other shows just because they won't book me on this show because I only weigh $105 and I look like I can blow away with a hairdryer. That's not our fault. That's not my fault. So don't try to take money out of my pocket, because it gets real personal real quick. I will get final confirmation on this part. And not just, it's not Beyond Ringside talking. This is Fast Eddie Lane. This is Eddie Powell talking. You try to take money out of my pocket, boy, I will find you. I love this business. I love everything about this business except for little drama queens who run around with nothing better to do with their time than stir crap up. And for you, if I get final confirmation, if I see the hard evidence, for you, it will be last call. And I don't mean on this show. Mabo, shameless plugs.
MA_BO on Twitter, Mark Bowman on Facebook. You got Creative Concepts, Eyewitness Store, BevNerd, all that on Facebook, BevNerd.com, at BevNerd on Twitter. And I would like to go ahead and shamelessly plug, and I don't think I've ever done this, but to the best of my knowledge, it is still, no pun intended, locked in. Next week, in the 6 o'clock spot, we're going to have, from Chikara, from Kaiju Big Battle, for those of you who remember Kaiju Big Battle, it used to run on G4, Gavin Loudspeaker will be joining us in the 6 o'clock hour. So tune in, and, I don't know, don't over-syrup your French toast stick.
Toss.
Not you. You're not cute enough. But
there you go.
Nemesis. Shameless plugs.
At Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, Wicked Nemesis Enoch Caesarian, Facebook, Wicked Nemesis Enoch ENOCH. On YouTube, you can also find me on Daily Motion, Wicked Nemesis, Blogger, Blogspot, Wicked Nemesis. This Wednesday, the To Be Determined show. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, TNT-radio.net. Can't wait to hear what GCW Wrestling Radio has tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on BeyondRingside.com, because I won. So I cannot wait to hear the announcement that I won, because the only thing that really matters about last night is I won. It doesn't matter that Tracy took the finish, I won. And once again, I'm still the winning percentage all-time manager in GCW history, and I hope everybody in the underground, and Ted, if he actually shows up for the show tonight, if his spirit isn't broken like a horse, it's going to be great to hear everybody say Wicked Nemesis won. Hey, Eddie, I won.
Okay, cool.
And YouTube tonight, hey, can't wait for that YouTube upload. Because I won. To the victor goes the spoils. Eddie, last call.
Shameless plugs.
Shameless plug.
You can find me.
They're not talking about Scott White's hair plugs.
There you go. Personally, at Fast Eddie Lane, LAYNE, over on Twitter. Facebook.com/Fast Eddie Lane. And the personal site is about to be reset, redone, revamped, and reloaded as soon as I get the login information. I had to say it like that, just being me for a minute. By the way, for the record, don't take everything, for everybody who is not involved in the circumstance of which I spoke during last call, don't worry about it. Don't look at it too deeply. But for the person who was, your ass is mine, boy. Plain and simple. And I don't mean in a good way. BeyondRingside.com, the official...
Batman Eddie Lane.
Dead man walking. I should have had that soundbite. But from that vantage point, yeah, I know I'll drop you off at the West and let them get your blue in the face. And I'll say that out loud. I'm going to Chick-fil-A as soon as they open at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, back at the ranch at Beyond Ringside on. Say what?
Chick-fil-A don't open at 10 o'clock in the morning. They open fucking 6.
That's when I have to. That's when I leave the house. So everything.
So they open up on. They're on Fast Eddie Lane time. They ain't on nobody else's time. They're on Fast Eddie Lane time.
They ain't open until I walk out the door of the house to leave to go. I don't care how many people got there before I did. They're open when I leave the house.
They on CPT. They on FET.
They on FET.
Yeah, that Dakota people time.
They on FEST. Fast Eddie Lane shoot time. However, I think that's actually the most serious I've ever been during this entire show's run, plain and simple. And and I'm gonna go back and there will be no editing.
Eddie, what? Hold on, Eddie, in that same voice, I want you to kind of not really yell, but ask, like you're shaking the Joker, ask him where Harvey Dent is.
Tell me where he is. Do it, Eddie.
Tell me where. I'm trying to. Shut up! Bassholes. I said bassholes. BASS holes. Where's Harvey Dent? I know you know where he is.
Do you think you have the power? And this gives you power over me?
I have the power.
Maybe he's wondering why you shoot a man before throwing out of an airplane.
Because the bullet's cheaper than the parachute. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live is the fan page. Please click like, because I can't take anybody else on the friend page. 5530, I believe, is the count as of yesterday afternoon when I had a chance to actually look at the damn page. But from that vantage point, we do this every Sunday night, 5:30 p.m. Special thank you once again to Tommy Taylor for coming on Beyond Ringside. Also, Grizzly Redwood, tremendous to have both people on, and looking forward to having them both back on in the very near future.
And see, that's why we need animated stuff. I want to see an animated Eddie Lane dressed as Batman doing that scene with an animated Wicked Nemesis as the joke.
No, that was me doing Bane.
Oh, you were doing Bane? Okay.
He's doing Bane.
I want to see an animated Wicked Nemesis as Bane.
Modco, get on that.
Send me the website link again over in Skype, to which I will say this. Don LaFontaine, you are still one of my heroes. God rest your soul. In a world where Fast Eddie Lane's lost his effing mind. Damn, you tell me.
I want to say, we've got to get Nina Monet back on this show. We need to have Nina by herself. She did fantastic last night.
Yes, she did.
Maybe I wish she would have been there.
I was gonna ask, how much heat do I have with Tasha right now?
Oh, she was upset you weren't there, but she said she understood, not be able to get out. But yeah, she was a little disappointed.
She was.
Well, I can tell you right now, that belt will be mine.
If you'd have seen Nina, you'd have been like, "Wow."
Yeah, you would have.
Oh, I believe I've met Nina before. I can definitely ram that.
And we're going to hell in a handbasket.
On the flip side of the coin,
side of the coin.
Did you happen to do a wrap up or post video?
No, I didn't. I was so exhausted. We were trying to get torn down and out of there so fast. I didn't have time to do a wrap up. I really wanted to, and I may still try to do one to encompass all three shows. But right now, like I said, coming out of last night when we ran over and when we finally got everything shut down, I had to go ahead and just do the fastest tear down and load back in just to try to get out the door. But, dude, last night, it was a blast watching you in action, watching Pandora in action, Tracy, Tasha, Nina, everybody. That match, I will say this, the match was great to watch. And there, of course, the human element involved. There were a couple of things here and there. But for those who missed the show in Pell City, Alabama last night, you missed a hell of a show from start to finish. I want to say this, with all due respect to everybody on the card, one match sticks out in my head, and that is Eric the Dragon Andrews and O'Hagan. And I will say this, for the one person in particular who asked if O'Hagan actually blew up during the match, that boy got better cardio than the 52nd Airborne, so there's no way that he'd be gassed that soon into a match. Guarantee he could have still run another 50 laps on the upstairs track. So with all due respect, that's called knowing how to work the match, plain and simple.
All you have to do is just ask Eric. Eric was ecstatic about the match. Going into it, Eric had no idea who O'Hagan was.
Yeah.
But as we all know now, he definitely knows who O'Hagan is. Great match. That match stole the show. And Aiden Solo, does the kid ever have a bad match?
No, actually, when he was this is not tearing anything up, but he made the transition, or the transmogrification, if I can use that word. What the hell? From Otto von Gruber to Aiden Solo. Okay, let's do that one on three just for giggles. 1, 2, 3. Von Gruber. Okay, I thought you were hanging me out to dry on that one. I figured y'all would do it to me too.
No, because we like saying Gruber. Because McGruber!
Oh, and by the way, Wild Thing Will Owens. Yeah, I hope you drank one for me last night, you tick turd.
Wild Thing Will Owens peed in an aquarium.
No. Because, see, I was actually going to join y'all for, I was going to join everybody for the post-match party, and unfortunately situations didn't work out. Thanks, Will. And, yeah, I just outed that on air. Thanks for playing. I know he listens too, and he'll get even with me later. Not because...
I don't think Will Owens doesn't listen to Beyond Ringside. He's too busy working at strip club.
No, he's too busy winning championships.
Yeah.
Strip clubs.
Yeah, he won one last night. That's all I can say about that. Folks, let's go and call it GCW Radio starts in 50 minutes from right now, right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. I hope you join us and stay tuned. Coming out of the events from the last 3 days, it's been absolutely chaos. So once again, Global Championship Wrestling's GCW Radio starts in 50 minutes from right now here on Beyond Ringside. Facebook.com/GCW Pro Wrestling. Folks, we'll be back at it next Sunday night, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Thank you again, Tommy Turner. Thank you for coming on.
Tommy Turner, Tommy Taylor.
Tommy Taylor. Oh, jeez. I'm looking at something else right now, and I got my names confused. Tommy Taylor, once again, thank you.
We know what you're looking at. You're looking at Fairly Odd Parents.
No, that's Timmy Turner.
Timmy Turner.
No, close to Turner I can. And Jimmy Neutron.
No, Jimmy, don't lose faith in me. I promise you'll have my undivided attention. Ooh, mosquito.
Tommy Taylor, thank you. Grizzly Redwood, thank you.
You sure you don't want to change it? You just want to call him, like, I don't know, Kodiak Sequoia? Want to mess up his name, too?
Yukon Jack Marshall, I don't know.
Sacagawea!
I can all kiss my ass. I've had a hard week. Shut up. For Mark.
Solo!
Solo! We haven't even gotten to the damn Easter eggs yet. For Mark Maple Syrup Bowman.
Oh, it's sticky, fellas. And hopefully GCW TV will do the right thing and put the O'Hagan Andrews match on television so I can see it.
For the Oracle of Ominous Wicked Nemesis.
For those that come out to Pell City last night, the 300 plus that showed up, thank you all. Great hot crowd. Thank you all for listening tonight. One last thing to say. Mabel! Mammy!
This is the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Steady Lane saying I can never walk down the frozen food aisle and look at French toast sticks ever again. That's all I'm going to say about that. Adios.
YouTube!
Shut up! God, to hell with it. We'll see you next Sunday right here on Beyond Ringside. Daryl and everybody, thank you for coming to the chat room. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, boo!
You schmutz.
Mean as ass.
Hey, James and the Giant Beast, do you ever put maple syrup on your action figures?
Hey, that's what we all hear you.
Oh shoot! I think I'm gonna go to Netflix and find a copy of Stroker Ace.
Dude, you can just borrow my copy of Stroker Ace.
I don't want anything out of here.
I wouldn't want anything. If they ran a black light through my room right now, it would glow.
CSI. We'll see you later. Easter egg son, we're out. Bye-bye.
This is Kenny Kip Kennedy, master of Kenny's Kempo Karate.
Hier spricht Tassilo Jung von Western Extreme Wrestling.
This is the Dark Child, Chance Crawford, NWA National Heavyweight Champion. This is the Temptation, Sean Tempers.
This is Jacoby Boykins, a.k.a. the Alabama Ambassador, Mr. 256.
This is the Bee's Knees, the Casper Pajamas, and the whole shebang. Johnny Gargano.
This is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside. And you are